Craig Berube's a good coach, a fine coach. I don't think he's lost control of the room. But if you start playing in a way that's not, I guess, representative of who you had been in the past, how do you fix that? Because you mentioned it, no draft picks really to change things out. There's not a big lineup of AHL Marlies that are busting down the door. They've got Cowan, who I think has been a bit of a bright spot. But is it more of just an internal look in the mirror and say, we've got to be better? And does that actually work with the team?
Well, the better is going to be a disaster because that's the only option. And what happened was, it starts with a Dubas era. I'm not piling on, but it started with a culture that kid gloves. Oh, poor Mitchie, poor whatever. Every year out of the playoffs, nobody pissed off and whatever, saying something, whatever. Always. It's the equivalent of that. I'm at the age with kids that are in their 20s now, but, spoiled, entitled kids and parents that allow it, that the kid calls and goes, oh, I dented your car. Oh, don't leave it. Don't worry. Look, take care. You're going to drive Mom's car. A week later, I dented Mom's car. Don't worry. I got it. You got Uncle Louie's car. We're going to give it to you, okay? And that was always it. They go out. You blew a 3-1 lead to Montreal, with those kind of plays. And then, hey, we figured it out. The process. Oh, really? All that crap. So the first time anyone was accountable was Sheldon Keefe. Good on him. And he just said that. And every other year, and it carries on again. Oh, golly gee darn, we tried our best. And I'm not being a smartass. I just mean, I think that's part of it about just, bleep. This can't happen again.
I love that intensity. I don't feel like I see that from them. I feel like you're talking about a team that I think, as Craig Berube said, is kind of, no, it wasn't Craig Berube, it was Brad Treliving, a little vanilla, like not that fire in their guts, in their stomachs to say, we're technically second worst in the Eastern Conference as of today. And mostly all the NHL teams are in action today. So this might change, but only the Sabres are worse than you. Like that should be enough to fuel little beeps,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And and one of the positives has been the guy that gave up the C, John Tavares. But the other thing with Brad Treliving, and I like him, I'm big on him, but I mean, he used the term vanilla. And then he talked about liking players with snot, right? Well, you can't just put snot in the lineup. Like right now, they're runny noses. Okay, they're not. That's what it is. Like whatever. And the fact that they were healthy scratches the other night, it's just showing there's not been a fit there. So there's just been a lot of things that's going ass backwards, and that's another one of those that you can't just. Oh yeah, you were going to get more snot. No, yeah, you just no. And that's where what is the makeup of this team and all that stuff. And I've seen positives of late. Like the rock bottom was period 2 against Montreal. Oh, yeah. Okay? But otherwise, the games around them, when you did have excuses for injuries, which you did not have early in the year, the bulk of this crap, no, they were healthy. That I've seen certain positives. And that's where they got to hopefully garner these positives, turn it, get back to the team. Not that we think they are. They should be. There's no reason you're going to fall like this, after a season like last year. They got to find a way to do it.
Okay, I think you're right on that, and we're going to get into the lines and some of the changes, but we just found out that looks like Max Domi is going to be a scratch tonight. I wonder your thought on that, because he certainly is a guy that I think has been underperforming. He has gotten a little bit of I'm not going to give him the short end of the stick, but he's been moved around from line to line all over the place. Like, I just don't think he's found a natural fit, and it sounds like as we get the starting lineups here, that Michelli will be in and Max Domi will be out. Is this the type of thing that he can respond well to and say, yep, I know I haven't been my best. I know I'm a better player than this. I sit this one out in the press box, which is a lot for a guy that has been in the lineup all the time, and maybe fuels him a bit?
It goes with the territory. I agree. So one thing about him, he gets moved around a lot, and that Eilish, I viewed as a strength. Like when he filled in for Nylander on the second line against Boston, he did a real good job. And I think that's where they look at that, okay, he's kind of that movable piece. They had a guy, Mason Raymond, 1 year. He only played 1 year here. He got a big deal out of Calgary. Too much, actually, out of Calgary. But his strength that year on a bad Leaf team was he could seamlessly fit into every line. And that's, to me, that's Max Domi came as a first-round pick, so you expected first line and whatever. That's gone. Okay, that's gone. But he's got a niche. It has not happened this year. So just as I talked about John Tavares in a positive way, Max Domi, and I'm big on Max Domi, but one of many, one of many that whatever it's been just has not got that kind of start this season.
He's definitely one of them for me. Another one would be Dakota Joshua, and he's going to draw back in tonight. We'll get through the injury lineup as well, but William Nylander not in tonight. That's a big blow. Like, William Nylander is the leading scorer for this team. He puts the puck in the net in overtime. Doesn't matter if he's having a good game or not. Like, he's consistent. And so Dakota Joshua getting in tonight, he's been very hard on himself in the media the last couple weeks, and I think deservingly so. He wasn't signed as a Marner replacement, but when Marner leaves and you sign Waugh, Michelli, and Joshua, you're hoping that maybe one of them kind of pops, and he hasn't popped. And I wonder if it's a slow, gradual increase for him, but I'll have my eyes on him tonight because he's getting in the lineup, and now there's no Domi, and he's going to be a guy that we're going to be intrigued to see, but it just hasn't been a hot start for me.
So, Ailish, top two lines is what we have looked at for a number of years. Then last year, Florida taught everybody, no, it's top three lines, okay? And you're not going to match that third line, particularly when they got Marchand. But it decided, because the Leafs were going to do it once and for all. Where the hell has the third and fourth line been for years? Okay, just bye. Where you been? Who's here? What? Door, swing, open, shut. Scott Lawton. He's got to get healthy and find that role. I'm big on him. He just hasn't been healthy. But that sort of said, okay, here's a sign that we're going to be serious about not two, but three solid lines in the playoffs. And then you sign guys that bring different components, and it has not happened yet. It doesn't mean it won't happen, because a lot of things haven't happened yet. But when you're new, sometimes that's tough. And when the attitude is, we want to bring some snot, they were bringing that in their own degree, but it wasn't resulting cohesive team positive winning hockey. They were kind of an island. So anyway, whether it's, he's out one game, Domi, I don't mind the healthy scratches. And that's one thing Craig Berube did really well with St. Louis the year they won the Cup. Like, in the playoffs, he had 15 forwards for 12 spots. And I know Sammy Blake's gone now, but he was a favorite. His, put him in for a game or two and say, and he had a good way of doing that. And I like keeping everyone, when they're healthy, kind of going, right?
Yeah, I think it's good to have a little bit of a competitiveness within the lineup. Like, this is Max Domi's first healthy scratch as a Maple Leaf, which is, as we said, something I think a lot of the fan base was interested to see if it would happen. It's happening tonight. So you hope a player responds next game on Saturday night. I believe they play it tomorrow night, being like, all right, this is not going to be a reoccurring theme. I'm not the odd man out. So yeah, I guess that has been a button, as you mentioned, that Berube's pressed, and it's worked in the past. But we'll see tonight Max Domi in the press box and Michelli and Joshua in. Let's talk positives, because I think there has been some. Let's go back to John Tavares. I don't think many people pictured him being able to take less money and then almost produce more than he had previously. I love the veteran experience he brings. I love that he still is a leader. I know he doesn't wear the C. A lot of people think he should be wearing the C. Doesn't matter. I think he shows up every single night and shoulders a lot for this team in terms of ice time, in terms of big time moments on the ice. And I just think that he's been, if I was giving out a gold star to somebody on the team, he'd probably get my first one.
And so the leader, if your captain is an island, you don't have a good leadership setup. So it used to be a strong leader and a leadership group. And he will always be, to your point, Ailish, part of the leadership group on the Toronto Maple Leafs. And you pegged it about, he's just been a good soldier. Last year, his stats were really good, but all people cared about, $11 million.
The money.
So guess what? He's making less than the big guys. He's making less than Riley. He's making less than McCabe. He's making less than Tanev, okay? That's you talk about taking a haircut, and he goes out and he's at 100-point season pace right now. And because he doesn't have the brash personality, he quietly just says, I should be considered for Team Canada.
Yeah.
And he should, and 100%. And but it's just kind of quietly in this vacuum, because the rock stars have ruled, and they've been entertaining and they've been fun, but it has not given you the kind of results in the playoffs. So anyway, he's the one. So as we go out and Willie Nylander been getting lots of points, but there's been arguments with the coach, been a lot of things. The only person getting effusive praise is Tavares. And now hopefully, I know you're going to flip to it at some point, if you can get goaltending like Joe Woll's given you, then all of a sudden you're in every game, okay? And quite often you start getting the kind of goaltending they had consistently last year.
Right.
Big step one.
No, I think Woll is a perfect next point, because this will be his, I think it's 6th consecutive start since taking over for Anthony Stolarz. And I've been incredibly impressed with his ability to come in. So he misses training camp. He's obviously dealing with something personal. We don't see from Joseph Woll. We don't hear from him. And then he comes in and basically has to take over the number one spot. I don't know if it was early for him, but it was pretty much aligned with when Stolarz was out. He was back in. And I mean, that worked out perfectly for the Leafs because he's been almost getting better every single game. And that's what you would expect from a guy that misses training camp, is a little behind the eight ball. But Justin and I talked about this about a week and a half ago, and I'm curious your perspective. We heard about Anthony Stolarz when he was no longer with the team in terms of injury, being like, I think we worked him too hard. I think this was this injury that he's dealing with was enhanced because of the workload that he had to deal with. And I guess I'm a little nervous we might see the same thing with Joseph Woll. Not that I want to be a negative person, but now Joseph Woll's the guy until Anthony Stolarz comes back. Balancing both starters, having to start for long periods of time when they've never started as a number one starter ever in their career, like singularly. Does that give you like any worry at all, or are you seeing a good, consistent Joseph Woll right now that you're set with?
Well, a little bit old school about, when you got someone, run with it. And I like the LA Dodgers. Put the starter back in Game 7. I don't care.
That one hurt, scored.
I know, but he said, I don't care how many innings he's pitched. Yep. In this particular case, the eyeball test. So I understand sports science, and it's important. It's progressive, okay? But again, the kid gloves thing. Mm-hmm. Oh, how many games can Freddie play? Like, wait a year. Freddie, meanwhile, we're out of the playoffs. Freddie didn't have a good playoff series for us ever, okay? But he was a solid guy during the regular season, always be. And I get that. That's a real thing. But right now, it's a unique situation. Joe Woll is hot. Mm-hmm. The other guy's hurt. So and again, you're assuming health-wise. It's not like you say, okay, he's got a bit of a groin thing. Should he play 3 games in 4 days? Well, that's different than saying, we got to get some W's. He's at the top of his game. This is almost like playoffs where you would play one goalie all the time. This is almost like a playoff run for the Toronto Maple Leafs this early in the season. So I don't worry about how many games you play him. I don't worry about that at all.
Yeah, I guess we can't really because he's going to be the guy. And so let's do our injury report. It's brought to you by Popeyes. Score a Popeyes chicken sandwich for only $6. In classic or spicy, make it your new game day tradition. Get your $6 chicken sandwich at Popeyes near you. So William Nylander, leading scorer for the Maple Leafs, the OT hero on Wednesday, will miss tonight's game due to illness. So it doesn't seem to be something, hopefully, that we'll see too long. William Nylander out of the lineup. But Brandon Carlo, upper body injury. He's close. If he can get through Monday's practice in Florida, he will be close to returning. That was from Craig Berube earlier. So maybe we'll see him Tuesday at the earliest. And then Anthony Stolarz, as we mentioned, upper body, not even traveling with the team. That one concerns me a little bit because not even traveling with the team, that could be weeks, that could be months, that could be see you next year, right? So that was one that I was a little worried about. And then, of course, Chris Tanev, and he's upper body sidelined for at least another week. Bradshaw Living told reporters. I want to ask you about Chris Tanev because I think it's been easy to say defensively this team looks a lot different, but I feel like they're a Chris Tanev away from us feeling a lot more comfortable about their defensive play. He's like the guy that elevates everybody else as a partner. So if I got placed with Chris Tanev, I'm sure I'd look way better defensively. Everybody that plays with Chris Tanev looks better, performs better. He quiets down the team defensively. And without him, it seems very run and gun and very like a haphazard defensive effort. I wonder if you feel the same.
Okay, 100% feel the same. But first I'm going to throw out, have you taken a look at the Tampa Bay Lightning defense of late? Okay? Like injury, no Hedman, no whatever. Okay? And they're kicking ass. Okay? So it's a cop-out to use that excuse. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you are.
No, for sure.
But in Tanev's case, what I love is, last year when they were talking about Team Canada for the Four Nations face-off, nobody has made themselves into a better defensive defenseman. Like, you can't go out and say, I'm going to score 10 more goals. But you can work on your game quietly year after year after year to be as good, to me, as good a defensive defenseman as there is. And that's where their faux pas has been. That's when they've been lacking. So, yes, 1,000,000% they've been missing him. And you know, it's funny. One of my visuals of those 2 horrible Florida games was when Tanev had the puck, and then he started waving with one arm. Guys, like, you got to come back here. Like, they're here. Like, it was like, that's the kind of stuff you do in training camp. And it's like they were blowing the zone quick. And he's just kind of going, guys, they're right here in my face. Mm-hmm. And we're Game 5, Game 7 of Stanley Cup playoffs. And we're not doing the simple basics. So I'm very, very big on Chris Tanev. That'll be a huge addition when they get him back.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think everybody slots in a lot more comfortably when he's in the lineup. And I feel like he's also, right now, the Leafs have been not bullied, but they've been getting out muscled and there's been skirmishes, and it's like OEL's the only guy that wants to throw a punch. OEL's he looks like he's pissed off all the time, which I actually enjoy. I think Chris Tanev has a little bit of that too, so it would be nice to get him back in because the Leafs will just look a little more menacing with him on the back end.
So they've looked, and it's not entirely accurate. This is what's bothered people. You go, when did the Leafs get slow? When did they get old?
They do feel old and slow.
When did they become non-physical? Like the Jays have more of an edge physically. Like, you go, if the Jays get in a bench brawl, they're going to kick the crap out of the other team. Of course, no base brawl ever happens in baseball. But anyway, and there's just that it factor that has been parked for the Leafs right now, okay? And rightly so when you watch it. And part of it is certain players that they're missing because Tanev does give that kind of look, So we shall see.
He's got a hockey face.
He's got a hockey face.
You look at him, you're like, that guy's a hockey player.
Yeah.
Easton Cowan, I want to ask you about him because he got that nice stretch at the beginning of the season where I felt like he was just hitting his stride, and then he had to get down to the Marlies because he was the only guy that was waivers exempt. And then now he's found himself back into the lineup. He scored a beautiful goal the other night, just a gorgeous shot. I feel like he's impressed me in terms of his ability to figure it out in a bit of an up and down start for the Leafs. Like, I think he gives fast, hard effort, definitely makes mistakes. He's a young kid. Like, he's still learning the game. But I guess I've been impressed by my ability to see him pop in nights where the Leafs don't look great.
So you think about, just trying to find your way, whether it's the new players like Michelli and Dakota Joshua when you've been struggling really out of the gate. And look what great goaltending did in that Columbus game. Easton Cowan makes a terrible giveaway. Joel Woll makes a huge save. Okay, he doesn't make the huge save. We're watching the highlights later. What's the first goal? Whatever. And then Easton Cowan gets the big goal, to send it in overtime. So all of a sudden, and so maybe that, we're always kind of, sometimes you're groping at it. We go, maybe that's going to turn it around for the team and for Easton Cowan. But I had first no problem any player going to the Marlies to get serious time, lots of time, lots of critical situations and develop. I've never had a problem. I think quite often you don't do it enough, right? But because you have nobody, as far as young players go, Fraser Minton was included in that trade for Carlo. You're hoping, can we get Matthew Nyes again in Toronto? Like, Easton Cowan seems to be the only other player that can pop to that degree right now. So, hey, because of the injury situation, whatever, he's got a chance again. And like you, I've been impressed, and I know the shooting percentage isn't what you want it to be, and you got to assume that will change. One thing I like as well is that World Junior team got beat up last year.
Oh, yeah.
Unfairly maligned, unfairly beat up. And he was one of them, right? Just what a strange thing. Got vilified. It was really lame. So I like that you say, no, this guy's the real deal. Okay, this guy's bona fide NHL player. Great pick by the Leafs. And let's see what happens. Now they need him maybe a little bit earlier. But, hey, Matthew Nyes, man. He came in right before the playoffs and in the playoffs and just...
he popped.
Yeah, so Easton Cowan's getting that opportunity.
We'll get you set with some lines now. Leafs just finished up warm-up against Washington. It's a 5 p.m. puck drop, so just on the other side of the break. But we've got Nyes, Matthews, and Robertson on that top line. You know what? Robertson has been another guy that has been, I think every season there's a point where we talk about, is Nick Robertson going to be traded? Is he the guy on the odd man out? But he's got a little staying power for me right now. I've been impressed. He just kind of puts his head down and gets out there and plays, and he can really shoot the puck. So that line, Nyes, Matthews, Robertson, your top line for the Leafs tonight, followed by Cowan, Tavares, McMahon, Michelli, Waugh, and Joshua, the new guy line. A lot of eyeballs on that third line. And then Lawrence, Lawton, and Yarncroke will be the fourth line. In terms of D pairings, Riley and OEL, Benoit and McCabe and Mermis and Stetcher. It'll be Joseph Woll getting his 6th straight start for the Maple Leafs, and he'll be backing up tonight in Washington. I'm excited also on the other side of the ice to see Logan Thompson in net. Like, this guy's got to be Canada's goaltender, and we get to watch him tonight.
Well, I'm excited to see him games he doesn't play the Leafs. Yes, because
maybe every other night.
Because you're right. You're going up against the surest guy to be on Team Canada. I mean, Binnington would be on it too, but he's had an uneven year. Mountain Ball likely won't be on it. So the Caps, though, is this the first home game they've had without a pregame tribute to Alexander Ovechkin?
It might be. It could be. It might be. And don't tempt him because he'll probably find another way to make history tonight. It has been an interesting year for the Caps. Like, I'm surprised they've got the 5th best record in the Eastern Conference right now, behind Tampa Bay, New Jersey, Carolina, and Ottawa. And as I mentioned, the Leafs have the 2nd worst record in the Eastern Conference. I thought the Caps might have been a flash in the pan, I'll be honest. I thought last year was a bit of a miracle-type run with the Ovi goal chase and the fact that they looked good, but they've had a pretty decent start. Like, I know the Eastern Conference is very condensed and anyone can kind of be at the top of standings on a little hot streak, but they look pretty decent.
By the way, that last ceremony for Ovi was really good. Yeah. I mean, they brought a lot of kids that started playing hockey because so I got to say that was well done. I'm saying, kind of kidding. There's so many of them. As I said, a bunch of guys had career years last year, and that's why you don't expect to be able to repeat it, right? And they're proving it wrong as far as the career year analogy goes. They're building from it, which is what you like. Yeah,
it'll be interesting to see how it all shakes out. You know, Leafs just not too far out of a playoff spot. I know it feels like it could be dismal, but they're 4 points out of getting a wild card spot right now, and 4 points means maybe finishing this road trip with a couple wins tonight against, or I guess, tonight. It's still technically tonight. 5 o'clock is still tonight for me. They got the Caps tonight and then back-to-back tomorrow against Pittsburgh. If you could win both of those, I think that you feel a lot better about yourself when you go on and play Florida and Carolina on the rest of this road trip. So we'll see how these Eastern Conference standings shake out. We will take a quick break because on the other side, we'll get to your players to watch, your key to victory, and we'll get you set for Puck Drop with Joe Bone and Jim Ralph. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Join me, Brian Adams, with some of my friends for a night of unforgettable performances.
It's Alan Doyle.
It's Alessia Cara.
What's up, I'm Lights.
Hey, we're the Sheepdogs. We're Bare Naked Ladies.
We're going to have a party, and you're invited. Brian Adams and Friends, a great big holiday jam, Monday, the 8th of December on City TV, or stream it on City TV Plus. I want to wish you all a happy Christmas.
Merry Christmas, Brian.
The fall get-together is here at Canadian Blood Services, which means it's the perfect time to grab your crew, hit up a donor center, and experience what you get when you give together. It's not just about donating blood and plasma. It's about showing up and feeling like we actually did something.
Jesse, you're up.
Awesome. Be right there. Book an appointment today at blood.ca and experience what you get when you give. Canadian Blood Services. Who's saving who?
Okay. First question. When does Desjardins Insurance suggest you switch to winter tires?
Below 7 degrees. Easy.
Nice. Next, what's a smart way to save money on your home insurance?
Switch to Desjardins Insurance and you could save up to $900 when you bundle home and auto. Easy.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
Val here. Short for value. Sunwing's financial advisor. Let's talk smart booking. With Sunwing Vacations, you get insider tools like our lowest price calendar. It hunts down the cheapest day to travel so you don't have to. That's your hack for stretching dollars into daiquiris. Now that's how you outsmart the system and win at vacationing. Book with your local travel advisor or at...
You know that feeling when the perfect song comes on while you're driving? We made a whole channel out of that. Road Trip Radio, packed with songs that always hit. You'll have the windows down and volume up before you know it. Road Trip Radio, channel 301 on most radios and at home with the SiriusXM app on your phone, computer, Alexa, TV, or other internet-connected devices.
Hockey 24/7 on SiriusXM NHL Network Radio.
Connor Bedard. Nobody said last year was bad, but what we're seeing now, he's the dog on the bone. It was almost as if he had some cement in his skates last year, and he wasn't F1 ever. He's different. This has been different. He wasn't bad last year. He was good. Now he's great right now.
SiriusXM NHL Network Radio. SiriusXM 91. And on your schedule with the SiriusXM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on SiriusXM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay, and it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
MLS, NWSL, the USL, and more covering the beautiful game here at home. American soccer lives on Sirius XM FC 157.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back, stick handles to the backhand, moves in front, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM. Hockey lives here.
Suzuki sweeps it, there's a chance, rebound, Caulfield shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
76.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Well, welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, the fan of the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Gord Stellick with you for your pregame and intermissions today as the Leafs take on the Capitals. 15 games in the NHL today for American Thanksgiving, kicking off at noon. The Leafs with a 5 p.m. puck drop this afternoon/evening. We're talking about some of the injuries. You won't see William Nylander tonight, Brandon Carlo, Anthony Stolarz, or Chris Tanev for the Maple Leafs. So a little bit of a different lineup. And Max Domi has got his first healthy scratch as a Toronto Maple Leaf. So a lot of pressure on some of the same old folks like a John Tavares and maybe an Austin Matthews tonight.
Yeah, no, it is. And you think about, wasn't too long ago, Max Domi was on in overtime on 3-on-3. Okay.
Right.
So Craig Brewery right now saying there's no sacred cows when I'm making decisions.
All right, let's get to our key to victory, and Gord's going to do this for us. Our key to victory brought to you by Rona. Rona knows the game we love is hard on the home, so make sure your home is ready to take on the hockey season.
So I look at that game against Columbus, where they had some good breaks too at the end and what have you, but still, we talked about it, Ailish, that Craig Brewery had non-negotiables that they bought into, and for some reason they've renegotiated. So that game against Columbus is really how they have to play right now. Ain't as entertaining as we saw in other years, but the whole thing is about reestablish the Craig Berube non-negotiable style. And just the other little one is, particularly with Nylander gone, part of when you're playing simple, shoot the puck. Shoot the puck. I know there's things saying you got to start skating, stop puck watching, and shoot the puck. But the one about just, and particularly the new guys, whatever, no fancy schmancy, whatever, just get plays, jam that kind of stuff. Keep it simple.
I like that. I think a lot of teams could take a page out of that one. We talked about tonight being an important road trip for the Maple Leafs. They're continuing on one, trying to build a little momentum. American Thanksgiving, usually the cutoff line for some teams making the playoffs. Leafs 4 points out of a wild card spot, so it's not the end of the world, but it is something that I think they could start building on. Standings are very tight, but Leafs looking at the bottom, not a nice feeling for Leaf fans, I don't think. So let's get to the player to watch, presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. I have 2 players for you tonight.
Okay.
I'm going to go with the goal scorers, the most prolific goal scorers, both on each team. Austin Matthews, plus 140 tonight for an anytime goal. He's got 10 goals and 26 points in 19 games versus the Capitals. And of course, I got to give you Alexander Ovechkin. He's plus 135 for an anytime goal. He's got 45 goals and 79 points in 61 games against the Leafs. If you get a goal scoring head-to-head like these two, I got to give you both players. I think they could both pop tonight.
Well, and, Matthew's just back from injury. Same with Matthew and I. So you never know, right, about getting going. But tonight, without Nylander, this is where we need the Superman cape, okay, about what happened. He had an ordinary game the other night. Maybe it's the first game back. But you're right about just like Joe Woll gave you the goaltending to be a difference maker in a game. You're a big guy, wins a game for you. Why not tonight?
And I feel like Matthews looks across the ice and goes, that's Alexander Ovechkin. I want to be a goal scorer just like him. Like people are saying maybe Matthews could be on the pathway to being a goal scorer as good as Alexander Ovechkin. So I kind of see that ability for him tonight to size up his opponent and to size up someone like Alexander Ovechkin. I could see maybe a little bit of extra oomph for him tonight. So it'll be Joseph Woll, as you mentioned, 6th straight start for the Maple Leafs. He's been doing great since he stepped in. I just want to see a nice, consistent effort. And he's also got a great goaltending matchup across the ice with him. Logan Thompson, maybe we don't wish he was playing against the Leafs tonight, but Hockey Canada fans tonight will hopefully see something they like in terms of maybe a guy that gets to start for the red and white in Milan.
Yeah, absolutely. And Joe Woll, when you're hot, you're hot. And the other thing, boy, I'd like Austin Matthews to look at Ovi and go, I wish I was that durable. I hope I'm that injury-free moving forward, because that hasn't been the case the last couple of years.
Yeah, maybe take a page out of his health and wellness. We were talking ice baths and hot tubs.
Whatever it is.
Maybe that's what they need to do. All right, Puck Drop with Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph is just on the other side of the break. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The road to MLS Cup continues with the conference finals on Sirius XM FC. In the East, Cinderella side NYCFC battled Leo Messi and Inter Miami.
Fantastic from Inter Miami!
Then out west, San Diego FC and the Vancouver Whitecaps fight to reach their first MLS Cup final.
San Diego FC have blown the roof off!
It's the MLS Conference Finals, Saturday night at 6 Eastern on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Connor Bedard. Nobody said last year was bad, but what we're seeing now, he's the dog on the bone. It was almost as if he had some cement in his skates last year, and he wasn't F1 ever. He's different. This has been different. He wasn't bad last year. He was good. Now he's great right now.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Under review. And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltendings? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay. And it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Eric Tulsky's the general manager in Carolina.
Are you still a team that looks to go big game hunting via trades?
It's very easy as a manager when you have a good team to get conservative. Just let it play out and hope for the best. And that's not our philosophy here. We don't want to just sit back and call it good enough. We want to keep looking for ways to make the team better.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The NHL is on Sirius XM.
3-on-1. Connor McDavid, right circle, ditches, gets it back and scores.
With your favorite team's calls all season long.
It's a power play goal for Matthew Tkachuk.
The rivalries, the big goals, the moments you wait for. Plus, insiders to bring you closer to the decisions that shape the league.
Commissioner of the NHL, Mr. Gary Bettman.
NHL Network Radio, where the hockey talk never stops. On Sirius XM 91 in the car and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind, wrist the line, and walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs continue their road trip with a stop off in the U.S. National Capital in Washington against the Capitals. And the interns of the Iced Igloos this afternoon on a 5 o'clock start. It will be Logan Thompson, who is 9-6-1 for the Caps. 2.16 goals against average, 9.12 save percentage. And the starting goalies brought to you by Molson. Molson, everyone in. Joseph Woll, 2-2-1, coming off his strongest performance. He's 4-0-0 lifetime against the Caps this year, a 2.74 goals against average, but more importantly, a 9.21 save percentage in those games. And so finally, the Leafs are getting some regular, solid starting net minding.
Well, which was really the theme last year, wasn't it, when they were able to run off and win the decision, or the division in the Atlantic, and it was because it was either Stolarz or it was either Woll that would come in and lead them on ice. Now, I thought the Leafs were much better defensively in the first two periods, gave up a little too much in the third.
Puck is dropped and we're underway. Leafs to the left and the Capitals to the right on your radio dial as it's sent into the Toronto zone. Woll out of the goal, almost gave the puck away on the left wing. In fact, it's come back to the point, kept in by Sandin. Over on the right wing side and a long shot with a backhand stop. Rebound in front. That is swallowed up and then it goes into the net.
They're waving it off, but I don't know when the whistle went. Capitals continue to celebrate, but the referee waved it off right away in behind the goal.
The discussion going on now, but all of this stems from a Joseph Woll giveaway.
Oh, this never was covered up by Woll. This may end up counting.
It may. Yeah, you're very right. Well, could be. Riley gave it a valiant effort to get behind the goaltender after it had trickled in. But now the discussion is on. Did you blow the whistle before it went into the net?
Yeah, I mean, this should count.
We will review the play to see if the puck would have continued to cross the line from the original shot.
Okay, maybe they're talking about the net being knocked off.
Well, the other thing is, if the puck is moving and still going into the net when the whistle goes, they will count it. But did the whistle go before the Capitals player reached behind and tucked it in? It stops, right. Now, the wave-off was immediately.
Yeah, it was Strome, I think, Joe, was the one that came in and finished it off over the goal line.
John McIsaac and Kelly Sutherland are the referees. Tommy Hughes and Libor Suchanek are the linesmen.
Well, it'll be a huge break if this gets waved off. I mean, the puck had stopped, on the goal line.
Yep.
So if they're saying if the puck stops, the play is dead, then the Leafs get a break.
Yeah, and it finally is touched by Dylan Strome to put it in the net. There's no question it went in, and it's no question that it was not covered up. Did the whistle go to stop play? And that is what is being decided now. And it's been decided.
After video review, it's deemed that the play was stopped prior to continuous motion of the puck crossing the goal line.
I couldn't agree with this more. Sort of.
I mean, that is a huge break. And Spencer Carberry behind the Washington bench is obviously shaking his head, saying, come on, this is 21 seconds into the game. But you're right. Joseph Woll came up, tried to force it up the right wing boards. It was turned over, and then the Hornets nest in front of him. But a huge break. Shot from the right wing circle, gets under the arm and over the pad of Woll and trickles back to the goal line. But obviously the officials had blown the whistle, and then it was swept in by Strome. But Woll never had it covered.
No, it just lay there. Spencer Carberry is discussing it with the official now, and Kirk Muller is an interested bystander.
And Morgan Riley knocking the net off, that had nothing to do with it either.
No.
It still would have counted because the Leafs knocked it off on their own.
So a quick whistle from the official has saved the Maple Leafs for the time being. And 21 seconds into the game, we're still scoreless. Draw one by Matthews. Leafs carry out to center ice. Flipped in by Nyes. It'll go into the right wing corner, but a little too high. It's reached the mesh above the glass, and so a faceoff will come back out into neutral ice.
Well, so back-to-back games now. The opening goal of a scoreless game is waved off.
You know what, Mr. Alf? It just goes to prove that you have to play the game according to the rules. The rules are set out in a book. Everybody gets the book. You should read it, understand it, and then we wouldn't have all of these complications.
Why would Spencer Carberry be so upset?
I don't know. Guess he doesn't read well. I don't know. Shot down into the Washington zone. Cleared ahead by Thompson. Trapped by the Maple Leafs in the zone. Nyes in the far corner trying to look for an outlet. Comes back up on the wing and then is able to keep it free. Matthews in front of the net. They don't get it to him as it went off his stick and comes to center ice. And now here the Capitals in over the line, looking for Wilson. A drop pass to the near side for Protas. A pass in front of the net was intercepted, and the Leafs start back the other way with Robertson getting into neutral ice and didn't get to the red line. And his shoot-in has gone for an icing, so the Leafs will have to put those folk back on, and there'll be a face-off coming in the Toronto zone as a result.
Well, with Max Domi being a healthy scratch and Willie Nylander out with an illness, that allows Nick Robertson to get some time in the number one line, and you hope it turns out the same way it has for Easton Cowan, right? Where you get more of an opportunity. Robertson's only played about 10 minutes a game for the last 3 or 4 outings for the Leafs.
Puck down in the Toronto zone, scrummed as it comes back to the point, kept in there and shot wide of the net by Fairvarby, and now the Leafs get it free, and Robertson sending it in from the right side of center ice to allow a change. And the Leafs will do that as Carlson goes back behind the Washington goal. He'll get it up, straight up ice to center, in across the line, McMichael. McMichael pulls up at the half wall, got it off on the wing. Trying to work back with it is Ryan Leonard. Leonard in now with a shot. This time Woll, the save. There was a rebound, but it was cleared into the corner, and the Leafs break it out at center ice. They chip it into the left wing corner. Hustling in there after it is Bobby McMahon, but he couldn't come up with it initially. The puck scrummed. The Leafs are able to pry it free and get it back to the point. Oliver Ekman-Larsson with a deflection that goes well wide of the goal. Into the far side is Cowan, trying to come out of the corner as it's batted up on the boards. And now the Capitals are able to come away with it and play it out at center. Washington 13-9-2, 28 points. They're 8-5-1. At home thus far, the Leafs are 10-10-3, 23 points, 2-6-0 on the road, including that victory the other night. Leafs are on back of the goal in the Washington zone. Cowan can't get to it. It's going to slide past the defense out at center. And Jake McCabe goes back to recover and now brought in on the right side for Michelli. He can't get around the defense. Cleared back out at center ice. And a long shoot-in is bunted out of the air. And it's grabbed off then by Roy, who gets it up on the left wing. Going wide and trying to get around back of the net. The Leafs unable to control the puck, but now they do get it back. Oliver Ekman-Larsson works to the middle, dishes off on the left wing. Riley shoots and scores from an almost impossible angle down at the half boards, and a seeing eye shot for the Leaf veteran has opened the scoring, and it's 1-0 Toronto.
First shot on goal for the Leafs, but great work on the forecheck, Joe, by Dakota Joshua and Nick Waugh. Keep the puck alive. Get it back to the right point to Ekman-Larsson. He drags it to the middle of the ice inside the blue line and throws it down low to Morgan Riley, who jumped down from the left point. And a wrist shot with a little bit of traffic in front finds the back of the net. And by the way, for Ekman-Larsson now, another assist he's going to pick up on this, an 8-game point streak. Pretty quiet point streak, but pretty impressive.
Roy will get the additional assist on the goal, and the Maple Leafs on their first shot on goal open the scoring. Bouncing out at center, the race is on. The Leafs get it in on the left wing, looking for a man in front. Nyes has gone to the front of the net, but the pass coming back the other way from Robertson was looking for Matthews, and it was knocked away. Brought through center ice by Matthews now to the right wing. He'll backhand into the zone. Trying to slide past Sandin. Ties it up on the inboards, but the puck comes up on the wing. Protas gets it out at center now for Washington. Onto the left wing side, a drop pass and a weak wrist shot is easily steered aside by goaltender Woll. And the Maple Leafs have it under control in their own zone with Dakota Mermis. He gets it up on the right side. And over the line is Stetcher trying to get it in around back of the net and does. Comes back to the point, just kept in by the Maple Leafs. Deflected to the front of the goal. And the Capitals with time and space get it out at center. Played in on the left wing. Here's Dylan Strome. Stumbling, trying to get it back to the blue line, but it was out of the reach of John Carlson, who has to go back to his own blue line. Then his pass hit a leg, and the Maple Leafs have it under control in their own zone. Max Domi, a healthy scratch, and one statistic bears that out. He is -10 thus far this season, which is the worst on the team. Played to center ice and into the zone now by Beauvillier. Woll, a much better outlet pass there. Gets it up on the wing, and then it's turned over, and it's brought right back in again by Washington. Drop pass now to the side of the goal, centered. No, it comes off a stick and goes back in the net. Chychrun got it back to the point, a long shot, and that was off the blocker of Woll going wide. It'll come to the side of the net. He can't handle it, but it is poked aside. Did they think he had control of it?
Is this a penalty coming up, or does somebody think it was knocked down with a high stick, maybe? It was Matthias Michelli turned the puck over right at the Leaf blue line, and Washington brought it back. We're taking another look at that goal, Joe. It looked like Logan Thompson just didn't read where the puck had gone.
Yeah, he was badly off his angle, wasn't he? And then when he got over there, the shot was coming. Yeah, you're right.
I mean, it looked like he was still thinking the puck was in the middle of the ice. And the puck was severely to his right.
He was kind of squaring up to Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and Riley had the puck over by the half boards and scores his 4th goal of the season. Morgan Riley now with 18 points on the year.
And Oliver Ekman-Larsson, some of the assists, will stay right with him. Anyway, you've got Jacob Chychrun on a 9-game point streak with the Washington Capitals. 6 goals, 12 points in 9 games, and he's also got a 4-game goal streak.
For Morgan Riley, that was his 91st career goal at his 531st point, all in a Maple Leaf uniform. Pass up on the wing. Roy got it to the blue line, but not into the zone. Now brought in. Here's Michelli finding an open man, left wing side with a shot. And it was high and wide and over top of the net off the stick of Simon Benoit. And then an offside at the Capitals blue line. And it'll be brought back out into the center ice area. 14:22 left to play in the first period. And we should say goodbye to a good friend of ours, John Oakley. At his last broadcast on AM 640. Of course, we were part of the AM 640 family for many, many years. And appeared on Mr. Oakley's show on a number of occasions. He's a huge hockey fan. So all of the best to him. Played down into the Toronto zone and around on the far side. It'll be lifted out at center ice. And a shot is gloved by Woll. And he will hold on and bring a face-off in the Toronto zone with 14:08 left to play in the period. And the Leafs leading 1-0 on a seeing eye shot by Morgan Riley. That shot caroms off the crossbar and goes out of play.
Leafs have had some bounces, and you wonder with the Zach Werenski goal, the first one being called off Wednesday night in Columbus, the hockey gods starting to shuffle some stuff. Now, you think so until Willie Nylander is out with an illness.
Puck into the corner. Around back of the net, Benoit trying to play it ahead, but missed his man. Kept it at the point. Washington in on the right side with a high drive that went over top of the goal. Comes back to the left point. Kept in by Fairvarby, and it goes into the far corner. Ovechkin out onto the ice now for Washington. A puck into the slot area, down into the corner. Benoit chases. Got his stick in the way as the puck went high in the air, but not out. Now to Ovechkin, and a one-timer from the near boards was deflected wide. It came back out at center, and the Leafs are going to get it to the line, but again, kept in there by Fairvarby. Back to the point on the right side. out of the left point. They exchange the puck as the long shot is blocked in front of the net. The Leafs get it ahead, but running out of gas rather quickly, and it is quickly sent into the Washington zone to allow a change of players.
And that was Scott Lawton that seemed to have a stamp on the Washington defense, but you're right, that was the end of a long shift.
Capitals bring it back through center. Knocked into the corner in the far side. Mermis couldn't get to it. Played around the boards by Stetcher. The Leafs don't get it out again. Against the boards this time, it's going to be forced to the line and out. That time by Michelli. The pass comes in for him, but he couldn't get around the defenseman. Washington with it, who have outshot the Leafs 8-1, but trail in the game 1-0. Brought back in again by Protas. Protas knocked down, but the puck comes back. Sandin sends it well wide of the goal, back of the net. Protas tries to center, and he did, and the shot was stopped by Woll on the short side. Stetcher gets it high off the glass to center and bouncing to the blue line. Leafs get it down into the zone, but it's a lone Ranger rush by Dakota Joshua as the Leafs, the rest of them, were headed to the bench. Sandin around back of the net. The former Leaf gets things organized as Washington will take their opportunity to change. As we have 12 minutes to go in the first period, Leafs leading 1-0. Caps in on the left wing with a shot. Good blocker save made there off McMichael. Now puck in front of the net. A bouncing disc goes into the corner. Washington continues to press. A shot blocked. Leafs are able to get it out at center, but not quite enough to get it ahead as Bobby McMahon ended up on his knees and couldn't quite reach it to poke it ahead to Tavares. The Leafs get it down into the zone. Cowan couldn't come up with it as it comes into the slot. Tavares dropping it back to the blue line, but it'll escape the zone. And the Leafs have to regroup now at the red line where it is shot in. But by, wow, what a deflection that was. Jake McCabe found a stanchion to his liking on the glass. It came right out in front of the net with goaltender Thompson down in the corner. But no one in a white uniform there to do any damage with it. Woll now back in the Toronto zone. Got it ahead. McCabe was hit late there. The puck comes out at center ice, and it'll be shot in to the Washington zone. Down the boards, played around back of the net. Centering pass by Robertson is cut off. And back come the Capitals to center. Pass in on the left wing. Lapierre tried to get it into the corner. It was a little too far for Beauvillier. And Maple Leafs now will start out at center ice. A pass up on the right wing. Cleared in by the defense and into Washington territory. Going back to retrieve it is John Carlson. The veteran defenseman will lift it high just into the Toronto zone. Knocked back but controlled by Beauvillier. He has it stolen and the Leafs counterattack. Flipped in on the right side. Lawton won't get there. Trying to make up for lost ground was Lorenz, but the Caps get it out at center. They're going to send it down into the Toronto end. And Oliver Ekman-Larsson finds Morgan Riley, who gets it up on the wing. And a return pass will stretch things out again as OEL starts out of his own zone. Again to Riley on the left wing. Up ahead and deflected into the zone to allow a change of players. That almost handcuffed Thompson as it was a redirect that was sent high. Maybe a bounce there as well. Now pass down into the Toronto zone is ruled onside or no icing as it hit a body, and the Leafs have it back of the net. McCabe getting it up on the wing. A tip pass brings Roy. He's into the zone to the far side for Michelli, but his feed for a defenseman was out of the reach. It comes back to the blue line, and the Capitals will play it out at center ice. In across the line, trying to get through there was Tom Wilson. He was too well covered. And back comes Roy, sending it high into the left wing corner, but he's 1 against 5 down in the Washington zone as the Leafs were changing. Long stretch without a whistle here as the Leafs are leading 1-0 on the single shot on goal they have mustered thus far. Down the boards, cut off there, sent back in the net by McMahon. Now Cowan to the blue line, a shot by Riley deflected wide of the goal. Capitals getting it off the glass and getting it to center. Oliver Ekman-Larsson has it hit a skate, but it hasn't come right back to him, and he stretches things out, allowing the Capitals to escape and change as he gets it ahead for Tavares. Tavares in on the left wing. Robertson sending it deep into the Washington zone. Puck kept in at the blue line. Pass into the slot. Robertson dropping, and the wrist shot is fired wide of the goal. Keeping it in on the near boards is Troy Stetcher. Around back of the net. Trying to come out with it are the Caps. And they're going to get it out into the neutral zone, but diligent back-checking by Nyes disrupts the rush. The Leafs are going to get it around on the boards to Robertson, and he has ample room to carry to center ice. He'll send a long bouncing shot well wide of the goal. Anything to add so far?
It's been quite a game, Joe.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're enjoying it as it comes back on its center ice. Pass up on the wing, and now Nyes trying to send it back in. I was going to try and get a drink of water there, but you had absolutely nothing to add.
I went shopping. I just got back.
It is Black Friday. Here's Sandin getting it out at center and down into the Leaf end. Not an icing. Played by Benoit along the boards. Doesn't connect. It comes in front. Pad save and a brilliant one by Woll. Woll with the right leg getting across. Sandin across ice and the pass intercepted. Breakaway opportunity in on goal. Lawton in with a backhand. That is stopped by Thompson. Centering pass by Lawton didn't work. He tried to work it through the legs of Thompson, and he closed the door on it. So chances at either end here as play continues with 7 minutes left in the period.
Well, how would you like to be Logan Thompson? First shot goes in, second shot's a breakaway.
Here's a puck onto the right wing side of the Leaf zone. Back of the net. Trying to get it around the boards was sort of, and that was broken up and played down into Washington territory. And it is brought out on the near wing now by the Caps. They get it, but give it away, and then Michelli in turns gives it away to Wilson. Centering pass goes by everybody. Chipped up on the boards, and a big hit there. Knocked down the Leaf winger trying to come out on the right wing boards. I believe, or it may have been Tavares who took that hit. Down around the boards to the far side. Trying to come out McMichael. Has it knocked away. Tavares playing it back behind his net. Then a giveaway into the slot, and the pass went wide of the goal by Duhamel, and it was knocked back by the Leafs, who get it down into the Washington end.
Boy, that was Jake McCabe that went right up the middle and had him picked off in his own end.
At the point, kept alive by Stetcher into the slot with a shot there by McMahon, but that was blocked, and the Capitals have it again. Not sure how long this stretch of play has gone, but it's probably the longest we've had this season, isn't it?
We're a couple of commercial breaks late.
I think. Here's a chance for Dylan Strome in on the right side. It comes back, a bouncing puck to the near wing. A pass in front of the goal is deflected into the near corner. Well, if nothing else, everybody's gotten into the game because they've just been rolling the lines as Matthews gets it ahead, and Robertson, trying to get in over the line, was hooked off the puck. Back at center ice now for Dylan Strome with Ovechkin. Played back to the blue line, but it comes out into the center ice area, and the Capitals have to go back to the red line before shooting it in. Leafs block the clear around. It comes around to center ice. Left wing feed brought to the line and in by Toronto. Into the slot, and a wrist shot taken there that went high and wide. Kept in by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Now to Lawton. Lawton's pass, looking for the defenseman Riley, who was creeping in on the left wing, bounded away from him into the corner. Now the Leafs into the forecheck. Lawton back of the goal, works to the far corner with it. Scotty Lawton back to the point. Riley's shot was deflected wide of the goal. 4:21 left to play here in the period. We'll be drinking early tonight, Mr. Ralph.
You usually are.
Played on at center. Brought back in now by Toronto. Roy dropping it back into the corner. Round back of the net it goes. And the Capitals have broken that up. And it'll be launched high to center ice, where it's knocked down by the Leafs, who have to wait for teammates to get onside before trying to bring it in. But Roy hit a Washington player, and the puck comes back out at center. Now sent down into the Washington zone. Capitals going back to retrieve the puck. Brought out on the near side by Matt Roy. He'll get to the line and feed it deep into the Toronto end. Woll out of the goal, played up on the boards. Leafs now with 4 shots on goal and the only goal. Leafs across the line. Cowan into the slot, a shot. That didn't make it through. It broke the stick of the Washington player, though, as it comes to the side of the goal. Came out in front and it's knocked into the corner. Leafs after it now with a bit of an advantage here. Defenseman without a stick. Here's McMahon trying to work it back along the boards and has. Tavares back to the blue line. Gets it again with a shot. That's wide. Cowan with the rebound. Got it out in front. The player without a stick couldn't kick it. And it's shot down the ice. No, don't go for icing. Don't go for icing. 2:58 left. Sorry, I'd like to get you into the game, but we have to go to a commercial break.
Not on an icing.
Oh, right. Oh, that's too bad.
I got a lot of good stuff, too.
Yeah. Yep. Well, start at the top.
Well, I will say this. The Leafs, I thought just hanging on in the first 10 minutes of this game, but get a break on the goal by Morgan Rielly. A goal is called back by the Capitals, but now we're starting to see some longer shifts in the offensive zone. And Scotty Lawton with maybe the best chance that didn't go in for either team.
Yeah, he was trying to slide it through the 5-hole and
it was pretty much his only, other than trying to shoot glove side, it was his only option as there was pressure from behind.
Leafs scrum the draw to the far boards and send it around into the near corner. Matthews couldn't get it free. Caps send it around to the far wing, and it is backhanded. Out and sorry about the commercial break. You got some more good stuff?
No.
Icing call here against Washington. You're done? That was it?
Go
One icing?
That's about my game average. Isn't it?
Well, true. Yeah, no.
You usually don't bring it out to the third.
No, exactly. Well,
I will give you this. Logan Thompson's first 9 games did not give up more than 2 goals in a start. Only 13 goals against, but was only 6-3. That included a 1-0 loss in Dallas.
Well, the first period is presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. And we have the 3rd consecutive icing now to bring it back into the...
Can you bet on icings?
Mister, I am of the opinion, although I am not a betting man, I think under the present circumstances, you can probably bet on anything.
I knew you were going to say that.
You didn't bet on it. Shot from the point, deflects wide of the Washington goal, cleared out into the center ice area, and Morgan Rielly goes back to retrieve it. Rielly sends it down into the corner and around back of the net. Caps send it high to center, knocked down by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. 2:12 to play in the period. And the Leafs leading 1-0. The goal coming from Morgan Rielly. Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Roy assisting on it at 3:07. And it was, for the longest period, the only shot the Leafs had on goal. They've only had 5. Washington has 10. But it was 8-1 at one point, was it not? Sent down by Cowan into the offensive end. Up around the boards for Ovechkin. Long rink-wide pass. Gets the Caps to center. Off a skate. It comes back the other way. Tavares in on the left wing. Trying to work against a couple of opponents. Lost the handle on it. Looked like there might have been a bit of holding going on there as it comes back to the point. Richard coming! Off the goal post and out into the near corner. Leafs come close to doubling the lead. Play out at center ice.
It was Dakota Mermis that let it go through traffic from the left point.
Shot down into the Toronto end. So a goal post, a clear-cut breakaway, and a goal. And it's only 1-0 with less than a minute to go here in the period. Here are the Caps in on the right side. McMichael got a shot away, knocked away by Joseph Woll, and the rebound escapes the defense and comes back into Washington territory. And then a giveaway. The puck on the far boards. Leafs trying to find numbers to go to the net. Saucered back to the point. Rielly gets it into the near corner. Centering pass blocked, didn't make it through. Oliver Ekman-Larsson down there in the corner, and Roy backing him up as the puck goes to the far wing with 26 seconds left to go. Played along the boards. They battled for it and cleared around back of the net. 19 seconds left in the quickest first period we've had this season. Played down into the Toronto zone with 10 seconds left.
It's 5:37. What? It was a 5:15 start?
I think so. Yes. This has almost been like you had an hour of ice time and you played running time. Well, the running time comes to an end. Morgan Riley's 4th of the year from Oliver Ekman-Larsson and Roy at 3:07. And it's 1-0 Toronto after a brisk first period.
Very brisk. And as we mentioned, Oliver Ekman-Larsson, now that point streak grows to 8. And thanks to Armin for this one. This is only the second time the Leafs have scored first on the road this season. The only other time was in Detroit. Their very first road game, they had a 2-0 lead after the first period and ended up getting blown out in that one. So a little different, especially when you're on the road, to be able to play with the lead. A lot easier. It's still a lot of work, and I thought they got better as the first period went on. But it's a lot easier than chasing the game like they did.
Hey everyone, how's it going? I just wanted to pop in here during the intermission to give you guys a little look at what you could access with your memberships. So for all of you new members who were just gifted a membership by one of my 10 YouTube creator gifts that they allow for the month. So basically, if you're gifted a membership to the channel, it just basically means you get 1 free month of extra perks. So like you get the emojis, you get the Marley's logo right next to your name. You get access to members only videos and live streams, which is what's on the stream right now. So you're probably thinking, how do I become a member? So what you want to do is you want to hit that join button, and then once you click the join button on the channel, it will come up as 3 tiers. There's 3 tiers. There's Rookie, which is $1.49 a month. That is our cheapest tier, and you get access to pretty much everything. There's Assistant Captain, which I believe is $6.99 a month. And then there's Captain, which is $12.99 a month. Each tier, you get access to the same things. You get like members only videos, members only streams. Speaking of members only streams, first up, our first one, what you see on the screen here right now, is tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, depending on how late the Michigan-Ohio State game goes. It is Seattle and Edmonton. That is the first of 3 or 4 members only streams we are doing. So Seattle versus Edmonton tomorrow, 4 o'clock Eastern, members only. Our next members only stream, we have Chicago and Anaheim on Sunday. That game is a 3:30 p.m. Eastern start. Again, it is a members only stream. And then on Monday, 7:30 p.m., Winnipeg travels to Buffalo to take on the Sabres. I believe that's a 7:30 p.m. puck drop. So yeah, Monday, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, members only exclusive. Winnipeg takes on Buffalo. And then the one I'm not too sure about yet, I may or may not do this stream, is Monday. So Monday, right now, I have a doubleheader planned. It is Utah versus San Jose Monday night at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. This game is to be determined. So those are just some of the cool perks you get with becoming a member. Also, you'll get stuff like different non-sports related videos. Like I really want to start a vinyl collection. So maybe you're going to get a vinyl collection video, just showing off all the different vinyl I got. Or you're going to get like a, I don't know. It's all up to whatever you guys want because you're the paying members. Some of you are paying. The majority of you are gifted. You're the members. You tell me what you want. So before I switch it back to the intermission, does anybody have any questions? It is the first intermission. Does anybody have any questions regarding how memberships work? Again, I'm not forcing anybody to use their hard-earned cash.
enormous post, and they had Morgan Rielly score on the first shot of the period for them, and so they're up 1-0. I think they would feel pretty good about that right now.
Yeah, and you know, and part of it sometimes Logan Thompson's going to be on Team Canada, could be the starting goaltender for Team Canada, but some days funny shots are just going in, and Morgan Rielly's was kind of a harmless shot. he'd want that one back. Mermis, again, looked like a harmless shot. So sometimes, when the goalie doesn't see a lot of shots, you get the odd one through. I would keep trying that. Like I said to you a couple of times, I thought like Michelli and Joshua, guys that need to have good games, had good periods at the end of it, kind of spirited in that. But yeah, don't try the fancy stuff. Okay, don't try. You don't have Nylander, Marner's long gone, whatever. Just a little more meat and potatoes as far as that goes. But yeah, just what a funny, interesting period.
Funny.
And again, fortunate to be up 1-0.
We'll take a quick break. We'll come back. We'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard, which I need to leave some time for because there's 15 NHL games. And then we'll get you set for the second period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let it snow, and... Light the tree, pour some cocoa, and press play on your favorite Christmas memories. Hallmark Radio is here.
Have yourself a merry little Christmas.
From timeless carols to heartwarming hits of the season, it's the channel that makes every gathering a little brighter and every drive a little merrier.
No matter how far away you roam.
Hallmark Radio, spreading holiday cheer now for a limited time on Channel 105 on most radios and on the Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Connor Bedard. Nobody said last year was bad, but what we're seeing now, he's the dog on the bone. It was almost as if he had some cement in his skates last year, and he wasn't F1 ever. He's different. This has been different. He wasn't bad last year. He was good. Now he's great right now.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have a take and don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay. And it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Eric Tulsky's the general manager in Carolina.
Are you still a team that looks to go big game hunting via trades?
It's very easy as a manager when you have a good team to get conservative. Just let it play out and hope for the best. And that's not our philosophy here. We don't want to just sit back and call it good enough. We want to keep looking for ways to make the team better.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
MLS, NWSL, the USL, and more covering the beautiful game here at home. American soccer lives on Sirius XM FC 157
and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. A 1-0 lead for the Maple Leafs after 20 minutes. Eilers Forfar and Gord Stellick with you here. Let's get to the out-of-town scoreboard presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary. Bet365. 15 games in action. I'm going to rip through them. Lightning beat the Red Wings 6-3. Rangers beat the Bruins 6-2. Wild are up on the Avalanche 2-1. Flyers and Islanders tied 3-3 at the end of the second. Devils up 2-0 over the Sabres. Canadians up 2-0 over the Golden Knights. Kings and Ducks tied at 2. Sens over the Blues 2-1 at the end of the second. Flames over the Panthers right now, end of second. Canucks and Sharks. Sharks with a 3-2 lead at the end of the second. Your Leafs with a 1-0 lead over the Capitals. Currently, Hurricanes 1-0 over the Jets at the end of the first. And 3 more games to come. Penguins and Blue Jackets, Predators and Blackhawks, and Mammoth and Stars. That's your Thanksgiving slate. Whew. Okay, we got 2 minutes. 1 minute, Gord. Anything to add in our short commercials?
Well, boy, I've never seen 13-plus minutes of straight time. Okay, that's still unbelievable. That will not happen. But again, that's how first period ended. The upside for that, you had to keep rolling the lines. So the fourth line, Lorentz and that, they got like 4.5 minutes. They're on pace for just under 14 minutes. That's good if you can roll lines when you're on the road and you're playing back-to-back games. The other thing, you mentioned the Rangers win 6-2 and Lightning win 6-3. It just shows Lightning now are kicking ass, okay? And the Rangers, it's very crowded now. You're only 4 points out of a playoff spot at least, but the Rangers are part of that big crowd on the out-of-town scoreboard. So all you can do is control your own, get at it, but you've dug yourself a hole in the bigger picture, but all you can do is win your own games.
Yeah, Leafs with a goal on the first shot of the first period for them. Morgan Riley with a nice goal there, and they got a goal disallowed by the Capitals as well. So a little fortunate for the Leafs to be up 1-0, but let's see what they can build on it in the second period. And I hope we hear more Jim Ralph. He was kind of sitting idly by.
He said he went shopping.
Let's see what he got.
Wonder what he got us
in his Black Friday deals. But you will hear Jim Ralph and Joe Bowen, who have the call of the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Let's focus on what matters.
The push for the fantasy football playoffs is on.
Doesn't matter where we are right now. We got to make the postseason, and ultimately we got to win the league. If you don't make the playoffs, what's this all for?
The experts of Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio are here to lead you to fantasy football glory.
His floor is higher. I'll take the higher floor as opposed to the higher ceiling.
Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app, where fantasy football championships are won.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Connor Bedard. Nobody said last year was bad, but what we're seeing now, he's the dog on the bone. It was almost as if he had some cement in his skates last year, and he wasn't F1 ever. He's different. This has been different. He wasn't bad last year. He was good. Now he's great right now.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay, and it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
MLS, NWSL, the USL, and more covering the beautiful game here at home. American soccer lives on Sirius XM FC 157.
The Leafs Radio Network.
Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph, Armin Zagaria, and Andrew Hammond. Holland. Did I say Hammond? Holland. Yeah. Are not doing much. They'll be out early after that. And talk about rolling the lines.
Both teams.
Yeah. 7 shifts. Everybody had 7 shifts. Matthews, 5:11 on the time, and Steven Lorenz was 4:19 or 4:30. So it's been even Steven a little bit. And it's 1-0 Toronto as we're underway for the second period. Oh. Boy, this is really
starting to drag on now.
It's starting to drag on. It got an icing ball here.
What about this?
Want to go to a commercial break?
When you look at the numbers, Washington this year when trailing after the first 1-5-2, but the Leafs when leading after the first are 2-3-1, and that has been a problem, right, defensively, where no lead has been safe.
Here's a face-off win by the Leafs, and then Robertson fanned on his wrist shot, but he has to hustle back and manages to get to the puck and create a bit of an offside situation that stopped the Capitals from breaking in, and it's rolled out into the center ice area. Capitals moving left to right in the second period. Get it down into the Toronto zone, bouncing puck.
Boy, Riley's going to get a
Morgan Riley's going to get a slashing penalty as he tried to get a puck that was up in the air and clipped the Washington player. And the first penalty of the game is going to go to the Maple Leafs.
Penalty number 44, commence your slashing.
This puck was dumped in. Riley got a piece of it. It flipped up in the air, and when it was coming down, I think he was just trying to knock it down, Joe, with his stick.
Yeah.
Well, puck maybe wasn't quite there yet, but he knocked the stick out of Strome's hand. And the Washington Capitals, first power play of the night. They're 26th overall in the NHL. Alex Ovechkin only has one power play goal so far this season.
You know who leads the league in power play goals? As a shot here stopped by Woll and cleared to the line and out. Wyatt Johnston. Dallas has 9 power play goals thus far this season. Capitals back in their own end. Chychrun got it over on the left wing, and it's brought to center and into the Leaf zone. Broken up at the blue line, though, and shot by Scott Laughton down the ice. Laughton and Lorenz have been excellent as a tandem here in the last 3 or 4 games since coming back from injury. Leonard brings it in for Washington. Flips into the left wing corner. A centering pass comes back to the point. Off onto the right wing side now for Wilson. Wilson getting it down and along the boards. It comes back to the point again. Long shot in traffic, deflected just wide. Into the corner again. Wilson trying to dig it out. Roy got his man turned around. The puck still free. Back to the point. To Ovechkin, the shot. And getting across was Woll. And then the Leafs are able to get a rebound and send it out and down the ice. Boy, as a goaltender, you got to know he's there. You almost got to be loading up that left foot throughout the entire course of the power play, don't you?
Yeah, you've almost got to be cheating towards it.
Caps start out of their own end. Ethan Frank gets it in over the line and into the slot area. Beauvillier couldn't make a pass. It's intercepted, and the Leafs are breaking back the other way. Lorenz in over the line. Tried to make a pass for Laughton, but it was well out of his reach. But down into Washington territory with 17 seconds left in a power play. The first of the game for either team. Brought through center ice by Ethan Frank. Down into the right wing corner he goes. Trying to make a pass back to the point. It comes. Carlson lost it. Leafs have a 2-on-1 break. Nyes is the wheelman, and he's got Matthews shooting. And that was kicked away by Logan Thompson. What a chance that was. Centering pass. Nyes scores. They don't give up on it. Matthews gets the puck back. Nyes set up in the slot, and the Leafs have a 2-0 lead. It's not a shorty, but it's a 2-0 advantage.
Even if Matthews would have scored on his chance, the penalty had just run out. But Alex Ovechkin couldn't get to the puck as it was deflected on a pass to the left wing side. He dove and took himself out of the play, and that left John Carlson back to defend Nyes and Matthews. And Logan Thompson makes a great stop on Austin Matthews on the first attempt. But the puck goes back to the corner to the left of Thompson. Matthews made a nice move to get around Ovechkin and get it back into the hash marks to Matthew Nyes, who goes glove side on the right-handed, catching Logan Thompson to put the Leafs up by 2.
Troy Stetcher's going to get an assist on the goal.
All right, so a big kill leads to a 2-0 lead.
Leafs win the faceoff at center and fire it down into Washington territory. Cowan getting the puck back at the net. Tavares tried to center, but it'll come back to the point. A quick one-timer. Went through a crowd and deflected wide of the net. Pinching was the Leaf defense, Mermis, and it'll be played deeper into Washington territory. Thompson plays back to his defense, and the Capitals have it in their own zone. 7th shot on goal for the Maple Leafs makes it 2-0. Laid back down into the Maple Leaf zone. And bounces off a stanchion and came out in front of the net with goaltender Woll behind the goal, but nothing materialized. Now the Caps have it again, but they give it away. And wheeling out of his own zone now is Bobby McMahon. He'll lift it deep into Washington territory. Leafs in the middle of a change. Roy against the boards. Sent it around back of the net. It comes to him in front of the net. A shot that just went wide. Far side trying to come out with it was Joshua, but it was brought back by Washington to center. Played in over the line. Too far for Trevor Van Riemsdyk to catch up to. And the Maple Leafs, Riley getting it up on the wing, and the Leafs are going to get it to an open side and quickly played ahead in across the line. Mermis trying to drive the net, and that was off a stick and went wide. The puck comes back into the near corner. And the Capitals will finally get it freed up as they look for Wilson and find him out on the right wing. The Toronto native gets it across the line. A nice feed into the slot for Ryan Leonard, who is upended, and into the end boards he goes, and a hooking call is coming here to Toronto, I believe, with 15:29 to play in period number 2.
Well, Craig Berube has just checked the video on this. We're waiting for the replay, but Berube is not a believer, as Austin Matthews is the one.
34, 2 minutes for hooking.
Going to the box. Hooking is the call. Watching it again. Well, first of all, it looked like it might have been Simon Benoit's stick. You know what? This is a bad call. Leonard ends up, Matthews doesn't even have a stick anywhere near Leonard, and Simon Benoit has his stick grabbed onto by Leonard, who then holds onto the stick and tumbles into the backboards.
So the Maple Leafs are a man short again, and right off the face-off, they are able to ice the puck.
I mean, that's a tough call for the official because you got 3 players crashing the net.
Chychrun gets it ahead. Wilson across the line, and a whistle here.
Offside?
Yeah, apparently. I don't think the official gave it the full exercise on the whistle because play seemed to carry on. He had to blow it again. Face-off outside the Toronto blue line. Minute 44 to go in the power play. The Leafs lead 2-0. And the Caps lose the face-off, and it'll be banked off the far boards and sent out and down the ice by the Leaf defenders. Brought back by Chychrun. He's got 83 shots on goal coming into the game. Second only to Werenski. As far as a turnover now, and the Leafs have an opportunity with Roy breaking in. Fanned on the shot, and it's turned back the other way by Washington. Brought back by Wilson in over the line. Off a skate, and it's carried back out at center ice. Roy, it looked like he was loading up a shot, and then didn't think he'd get it by and was looking for a teammate, and it didn't materialize. Far side, a quick shot taken there by Ovechkin. His glove by Joseph Woll.
It's amazing about these players, whether it's Ovechkin or Stamkos or, Leon Draisaitl's a little lower to the goal line to do it, is they don't always go the same spot. And you see here, Ovechkin goes far side. A lot of times you think you got to rush to get over, and they reverse it and zip it past you. You're sliding to your right, and he fires it to his left. But this time, Joseph Woll is able to track it and get the glove on it. But that's what's amazing. There's no consistency to where they put it.
And do you not think that Austin Matthews can be that kind of a power play threat? And yet the Leafs do not utilize him that way. Now, Karlsson has lost his stick trying to play it with his glove hand, and it is stolen back by Lawton and sent down the ice.
But
and
we've also,
you know where Ovechkin's going to be.
Yeah, but we've also,
circle.
Leafs also have Willie Nylander on the other side that could do the same thing.
Yep.
We've seen him with a one-timer.
Ovechkin bringing it out. Brought to center ice now and shot in by Karlsson with a new cue in his hand as it comes back along the boards, back to the point. Karlsson off onto the near side. Trying to work down is Beauvillier. Beauvillier into the corner, gets a return pass. Back to the point. Karlsson for Ovechkin. Back to Beauvillier. And across came Woll. And out at the top of the crease, he is down in the butterfly to swallow that shot up. and bring a face-off again in the Toronto zone. 15 seconds left in the second power play opportunity of the period and the game to the Washington Capitals.
Well, Beauvillier came over from the Pittsburgh Penguins last year. He's a long-time New York Islander. Had a pretty good opportunity. Left-handed shot from the right wing side. Kind of just put that right into the crest of Joseph Woll, didn't he?
Second period brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance that's really big on care. Face off to the left of Woll. Won by the Maple Leafs. Stetcher got it ahead and out and down the ice it goes.
By the way, Austin Matthews with that assist, Jones moved into 5th place all time in Leaf scoring.
Brought in on the right wing side now by Washington. Milano had a bad pass. It comes out, and Matthews out of the penalty box. Can't control the puck, though, to get away on that far wing. Leafs 2 for 2 on the penalty kill and have been pretty good in their last 6 games coming in. Just 1 goal in 15 times short. They steal the puck again at center ice. Brought in over the line now by Matthews on the right wing. Had it on his backhand. Felt better of it and then made a bad pass as it comes all the way back into the Toronto zone, forcing Morgan Rielly back. Rielly feeds it ahead off Nyes. Tavares goes into the forecheck, but it'll be played up on the wing and banked out at center, where Dakota Mermis will get it up on the wing, and the Leafs send it right back into Washington territory. 12:41 to go, second period. 2-0 Toronto. A shot by Mermis, blockered away by the right hand of the goaltender. Cut off there by Washington. They get it just out over the blue line. But now the Leafs get a turnover, and here's Tavares getting a shot away. It went off. A body in front. I think it was Matt Roy. It hit him right in the seat of the pants and almost ended up in the net. 2-0 Toronto. The goal scorers have been Rielly and Nyes. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan on the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 is paying out before the final buzzer.
Check out Bet365's early payout for NHL hockey. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 3-goal lead, you get paid no matter the final score. And with early payout, you could be on your way to a winning parlay.
Early payout, just another reason why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
An official partner of the NHL, must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. Terms and conditions apply.
With most Subaru models, all-wheel drive comes standard. Heated front seats, high ground clearance, Apple CarPlay, standard. EyeSight driver assist to help when you're distracted by fall foliage, standard. Guy announcing the radio ad now wanting a Subaru? Yeah, standard. Subaru. Uncommon comes standard. Hurry into your local Subaru dealership today for lease rates from 1.99% for 24 months on select models and get great value that, you guessed it, comes standard. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Hey, seriously, can I get one?
The scrape of blades, the clash of sticks. Hockey's more than a game. It's unrelenting, never give up moments that make you feel alive. And so you commit to the weekly ups and downs, the long road to the playoffs. You wear your heart on your sleeve and your jersey with pride. And when you're there for your team, the NHL Shop is there for you. Check out the largest selection of official NHL gear at nhlshop.ca. A Fanatics experience.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey. On Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs 2 and the Washington Capitals no score. Leafs come into the game 5-5 and or 2-2-1, I think, in their last 5, if I'm not mistaken, Mr. Rowe.
They haven't actually won a regulation time game since Utah back in early November. That was the end of a 3-game winning streak.
So trying to piece together some kind of a streak to allow them to claw back into the standings a bit. And they've got a 2-0 lead here on Washington. Caps break it out with a rink-wide pass brought in by Van Riemsdyk. Played into the corner. Capitals get there first, sent around then by Sandin, but it was knocked down by the Maple Leafs, and they'll get to it on the near wing and poke it out at center. And Tavares gets some open ice, right wing side. Stetcher trying to get it back to him, but it was knocked away in back of the net. The defenseman goes around back of the goal. Got it back to the point. Long shot there by McMahon was blockered away by Thompson. And the Capitals will break it back out at center ice. Brought to the line and in. A knockdown on the play. Good poke check, is able to push the puck to the blue line, but the Capitals keep the puck alive. Played towards the front of the net, intercepted by Toronto, but not cleared. Long shot, well wide of the goal, far side. Trying to get there and being hauled down was the Leaf defenseman.
I don't know if a penalty's coming up. Matthew Nyes threw his arms up in the air.
Stetcher was dragged to the ice, and then did he make a glove pass?
That might have been the reason for the whistle, but boy, Leonard had a pretty good, he had a hand to the jersey, didn't he?
And he had the hook around his arm, so don't know if there's a penalty or not. What a penalty is again. Back to the point, off a face-off win, a shot smothered by Woll. Boy, he has looked comfortable, quick, and very aggressive.
Yeah, and I thought, the game against Columbus easily his best of the year, and they needed him to get anything out of that game against the Blue Jackets. This game, it looks like it was the first 10 minutes was the key. And sometimes for a goaltender, you need 2 or 3 big moments. Sometimes you need 60 minutes worth of them. But hopefully what they're starting to do is play better defensively now in front of him, where you take that load off, that he doesn't have to stop 36, 37 shots every night to win 2-1 in overtime.
Draw scrummed by Roy, but the Capitals are up against the board's far side, and the Leafs are able to dig it out, and they got Nyes coming through center. One hands it in over the line, work down into the corner to poke it back at the net. Matthews will get to it first. Centering pass, and a one-timer is whistled wide of the goal by Robertson.
Boy,
Great play by Matthews to spot Robertson coming late. And Nicky got a lot of it, but the accuracy wasn't there.
What you like about it, though, Joe? Dump and chase, right? You get it to the line. Instead of trying to force it over, get it through the seams and maybe have it picked off and turned the other way. Matthew Nyes dumps it into the corner, gets there first, one hands it behind to the net where Matthews picks it up and funnels it right out front to Nick Robertson.
Face off in the Washington zone. Matthews taking the draw for Toronto against Sardiff, and then Matthews is waved out. So Robertson will take the face-off, and he wins it cleanly back to Morgan Riley. Riley sending it around the boards into the far corner. Pinching down was Oliver Ekman-Larsson as it's cleared by the Caps to center, and Riley will go back to it and quickly play it off the near boards to find Matthew Nyes. Up ahead for Robertson, who collided with his teammate Matthews, but got it into Washington territory, but without control. Brought on by the Caps. They get it out on a bouncing puck that'll have to be regrouped deeper, and now set up on the right wing. Shot into the Toronto zone. Far side, Oliver Ekman-Larsson is able to turn it over, and the Leafs are able to break it out to center. Unable to get in over the line was Michelli, though, and now brought back the other way. One of the Leafs got upended right at the blue line. Looked like it might have been a trip, but no call. Puck that is knocked out of midair. And that was Protas who sent it towards the front of the net, but it was a high stick anyway, wasn't it?
That might be pretty close. That might have been, closer to waist high than shoulder. No, we get a lower look at it, too.
And an easy glove save anyway by Woll, so it defeats the purpose of the exercise.
But that's not easy to pick up for a goaltender when it's batted out of midair from the boards. Shots on goal just 16-10. Favoring the Washington Capitals here. But at one point, 10-1 in the first period?
8 anyway. It was at least 8-1, I remember. Draw in the Toronto zone to the left of Woll. Goal scorers have been Riley and Nyes. And the Leafs win the draw. And Michelli trying to come out and flip it into the Washington zone. Flipped it into his bench. So there'll be a break in the action here, I believe. The Leafs with a 2-0 lead on the Washington Capitals. And you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Johnny's on his couch. It's almost game time, and he's fiddling with the remote. He can't find the game. He's really struggling. He's not going to find it. He threw the remote. He has thrown the remote.
Is this your sports experience? With live sports on the SiriusXM app, all the big games are just a tap away.
Wait. Johnny's pulling out his phone. He's got the SiriusXM app. He's listening to the game. I did it. Have yourself a day, Johnny. Have yourself a day.
NHL Morning Skate.
Eric Tulsky's the general manager in Carolina.
Are you still a team that looks to go big game hunting via trades?
It's very easy as a manager when you have a good team to get conservative. Just let it play out and hope for the best. And that's not our philosophy here. We don't want to just sit back and call it good enough. We want to keep looking for ways to make the team better.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app. Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91, and the SiriusXM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, SiriusXM 91.
The Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs 2 and the Capitals no score. Second period, as we are right about at the halfway mark of the game, 9:59 to play in the second period.
With Dakota Joshua being the healthy scratch in Columbus on Wednesday, only 4 Leafs have played every game this season. Fortunately, John Tavares has won. Bobby McMahon, Jake McCabe, and Oliver Ekman-Larsson the others.
A shot in traffic deflects wide of the Toronto goal. Played in around back of the net to the far corner. Unable to get there in time was Joshua. It's back of the Toronto net. Benoit chases his man. Joshua chopped at it, but it goes back to the point and sent back around behind the Toronto net. Leafs finally come out with it, and they're going to skate it out into neutral ice and find Benoit, who fires it deep into Washington territory. Down the boards, the Leafs back of the goal. Roy getting it to the left point. Riley is able to keep it into him. Back into the slot it comes. A wrist shot taken there by Michelli, was off a body and harmlessly wide as Van Riemsdyk starts back up ice for Washington. Caps stretching things out as they get the rest of their change done. Beauvillier over the boards as it comes up on the right side, and Van Riemsdyk, he skates a lot like his older brother, sends it down into the Toronto end. Played off the boards. The Leafs trying to get to it, but it'll be back to the defense, and Matt Roy will regroup for Washington again, deep in Washington territory. Roy starts back up. A pass too far. Icing possibility here. Yes, it is. And it'll come all the way back into the cap zone as a result. 8:34 to play in the second period. 2-0 Toronto.
And Matthias Michelli back in the lineup after being a healthy scratch. Last time that happened, where he was a healthy scratch, he came in against his old team, the Utah Mammoth, had a goal and an assist. We always said that's a dangerous thing. Once it works once,
yeah,
the coach will do it again.
This might work. Here's a point shot by Tavares that went wide. The Leafs get it back again. Cowan in with a shot. Oh, and he just missed. He was going for that left post again, the spot he scored the other night. Play it around back of the Washington goal. Pinching down, it comes up on the wing, but Tavares couldn't keep it in, and because he can't, it's a 2-on-1 break for Washington. In with a pass, down his wall. Oh, what a save he makes, and what a swim move that was with his pads. He was skating on his pads to make that save. Cleared into the corner. Michelli trying to get it into the slot area. Now Tavares back to the point, kept in by Jake McCabe, but broken up, and the Capitals are going to get it back at center ice.
Well, there was the save, but the back check too, Joe.
Yep. People got on their horses.
I think it was Stetcher that had jumped in from the right wing point, which would be ill-advised with a 2-0 lead.
Now on the right wing side, and a shot is off the crossbar up into the glass, and it comes around to the near wing. Carlson getting it out into the slot area. Duhaime trying to give it back to him, and does a pass in front of the goal. Good play by Cowan down low to knock it off the stick of McMichael, and the Leafs are going to get it out and get a change going. Tervari gets it up on the right side. Carlson a pass across the line. Comes in McMichael back to the point. Carlson to the left point and into the corner. Capitals trying to stretch things out as it comes back. Here's a chance with a shot right on. Stopped again. The rebound is fired off the side of the goal. Another good save made by Joey Woll. Back to the point. Carlson again. Into the slot. Wilson gives it back from a shot. Scramble in front. They score. It took a while, but it is finally Connor McMichael on the scramble that gets the Capitals on the board on their 18th shot on goal.
Leafs just could not get control of it and get out of the zone. This is after Joseph Woll made, 2 or 3 spectacular stops to keep the game at 2-0. Finally, with traffic in front, a one-timer from the top of the right wing circle. John Carlson's going to pick up an assist. Oh, no, I guess it would be the 3rd assist on this, but he starts the play from the right point. And McMichael uncovered in front, just his 4th goal of the season. He was a 30-goal scorer last year.
Leafs bring it back the other way. Michelli gets it down around back of the Washington goal. That's drawn a crowd, but Roy couldn't come up with it, and the Caps are able to get it out at center to the Leaf blue line where it's broken up there. Michelli again to the right wing side, and it'll be shot in by Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Capitals getting it back into the far corner, and the lead cut in half now, 2-1 in favor of Toronto. Icing call coming here against Washington, and it'll be brought back with 6:07 to play in period number 2.
He's with just the 10 shots on goal. Have not had a power play yet in this game. Joseph Woll almost was able to dive over and get that with his glove on the rebound. After McMichael had flipped it over him and into the net.
McMichael, an Ajax native. And the Leafs win this face-off as Oliver Ekman-Larsson gets it off into the right wing side. Shot in wide of the net. It goes into the corner. Matthews into the forecheck. And now Robertson curling out with it. Quick pass back to the point. Oliver Ekman-Larsson sends it well wide. Got it to Matthews in the slot. Matthews, a weak wrist shot and a push-up on the middle and a breakaway opportunity for Protas. And a shot is gloved by Woll, who throws it aside, but there's going to be a whistle. There was a partial breakaway. Protas really didn't have an option of cutting to the net. And the wrist shot was gloved nicely by Woll as the Leafs lead cut in half. 2-1 here in the second period with 5:38 to play. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Of the NHL. Must be 19 or older. Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. T&Cs apply.
Okay. First question. When does Desjardins Insurance suggest you switch to winter tires?
Below 7 degrees. Easy.
Nice. Next, what's a smart way to save money on your home insurance?
Switch to Desjardins Insurance and you could save up to $900 when you bundle home and auto. Easy.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
The cross in front, they score!
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Protas, who had a 30-goal season last year with the Capitals, kind of glanced over his shoulder to see if there was anybody with him and then decided to shoot it. And Woll makes an excellent glove save and stops play, and face-off won by Toronto, and they'll chip it out into neutral ice. 5.5 minutes to play in period number 2. The Leafs leading 2-1.
Shots on goal the same, 10-5 in the first, now 10-5 Washington in the second.
And across the line, Ovechkin. Off a stick to the far boards. Lorenz couldn't get it out. Another long shot gloved by Woll. And another stoppage of play to bring a face-off in the circle to his right.
You knew it was coming, right? The push by the Capitals. And 2 power plays here in the second period as well. Weren't able to connect on those. The Leafs just kind of got running around in their own zone, and it was the Matthews line that got caught out.
Face off in the circle to the right of Joseph Woll. It was an interesting kind of formula with that he stands with his back up against the post, middle of the net, kind of staring straight out at center ice, and then when things look like they're going to get started, then he gets he focuses back on the face-off circle, but does it every time in the Leaf zone. Puck down into the Washington end. Mermis couldn't come up with the loose puck, or at least Joshua couldn't come up with the loose puck, and it is pushed out at center ice and down into the Toronto zone. A sweeping pass in front of the net, well out of the reach of Dylan Strom, the Mississauga native, and the Leafs have it out at center. Michelli one-on-one, slows up, and then just dumps it into the far corner. He was heading to the bench. And it'll be shot down the ice, and the foot race is on here. It is won nicely by Mermis, who hustles back.
Well, Anthony Beauvillier had a pretty good burst of speed right on his tail.
So a good race for the icing, and it'll come back into the Washington zone.
Really, since the Leafs made it 2-0, Logan Thompson hasn't had a whole lot to do, has he? 21-10 shots favoring the Capitals.
4.5 minutes to play now in the second period. Tavares lost this face-off. Capitals play it around into an empty corner. Tavares trying to get there to create a bit of a stir, and he does. McMahon around back of the net, works to the near side, cycles it back into the corner. Cowan trying to dig it free, knocked down on the play. The puck is gobbled up by Matt Roy, and the Capitals will play it out at center, and it'll be shot by Strome into the Toronto end. Leafs back in their own zone. Long up the center. Cross the line for Tavares, who is stationary at the blue line. Sent it around back of the net. Cowan trying to play it out in front. Kicked it free. Leafs get it back to the point. Walking the line, and a wrist shot coming. Bouncing shot to the side of the goal. Around back of the net. Centered into the goal crease area. And it was too high for Cowan to knock down. Brought back the other way now by Frank. Ethan Frank gets in with a shot. Stopped on the short side by Woll. Puck around back of the net. Matthews turning back up ice for the Maple Leafs. Then circles back. Finds Oliver Ekman-Larsson open, and he gives it ahead. And it'll be cleared deep into Washington territory. Nyes into the forecheck. Matthews trying to help him out. Puck poked free, and the Capitals have it. Skating room on the left wing. Brought in over the line. Hustling to the front of the net was Protas, but it's maintained, and then the shot comes in front. Backhand try. Knocked away in front of the goal by a block. There as it comes back to the point. Van Riemsdyk keeping it alive for the Caps. Round on the far side, the Leafs get it free, but then send it off a leg, and it's grabbed off again by Toronto. Played out into the center ice area. Robertson's pass went off a skate. Brought back in by Sordiff. Centering pass, doesn't make a connection. Down in the Toronto zone, though. Round on the boards to the point. Van Riemsdyk to Sordiff again. Back it comes to Van Riemsdyk. Off onto the left wing side. A shot blocked. Leafs don't get it clear. Kept alive there by Sordiff. Back to the point again. Frank trying to go into the corner with it. Looks for a man back at the point. It'll come over to Sandin. Sandin across down into the slot area. Flipped to the side of the goal by Sordiff. And it goes around the boards to the far side. Capitals with good pressure here, and they're getting a change in as well. Pass across in front, shot stopped by Woll. And the Leafs, Robertson, going to get it off the boards to center. And the Leafs knock it further down the ice to get the rest of their change going.
Well, 3 players on Joe for a minute and a half, including Nick Robertson.
Leonard across the line for Washington. Under 2 minutes to play in the period. Played down around back of the net, centering. That goes off a skate, and the Leafs are pushing it out into neutral ice. Capitals again. Off on the left wing. That would have been a delayed offside. Leafs are able to take advantage of that. Morgan Riley sending it up the middle. He was looking there for Yarncrook, but did not make connection. And it turns into an icing with 1:23 to go in the second period, and the Leafs leading 2-1.
Leafs really did dodge a bullet that last offensive possession time by the Washington Capitals. You had McCabe and Benoit were on for a minute and a half. Robertson was on for a minute and a half.
Michael had the great chance, and Woll had to stand tall and cover up that short side on the post. Sure what constitutes the warning as opposed to a you're out of here. Puck in the center ice area, but the Capitals have it. They get almost to center ice and shoot it in, but no icing here on the play as it comes in front. The Leafs have it now under control and flipping it into neutral ice. Lawton and Lorenz out there for Toronto as the puck comes up across the line. Back checking diligently was Lawton to play it out at center. Lorenz sends to an open wing. Riley, one of the goal scorers for the Leafs, sends it in. 40 seconds left to go in the period. Puck at the side of the Washington goal. Played out into neutral ice. Capitals will dump it deep. Woll settles it, leaves it there for the defense. And it'll be brought out at center ice by McCabe. Matthews got across the line but couldn't penetrate. And now McCabe again trying to find the centerman, but Matthews had it knocked away from him. Capitals back in with a couple of seconds left in the period. Centering pass intercepted by Nyes. He just needs to get clear of it and does. And the final seconds will tick down. So both teams score in the second frame. And the Leafs lead will be maintained as they head to the third period as McMichael from Protas and Wilson cut into a lead generated by Nyes from Matthews and Stetcher, and it is 2-1.
Leafs down a lot of offensive zone time, right? I know they did have to kill off 2 penalties in the second period, but 23-10 the shots. And it seemed that after Matthew Nyes made it 2-0, you had the push from the Capitals, and the Leafs kind of got away from the dump and chase and tried to create opportunities off the cycle.
So it is a 2-1 lead, and a lot more time to talk about the game for the people during the intermission this time around. Ailish Forfar and Gord Stellick coming your way. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The road to MLS Cup continues with the conference finals on Sirius XM FC. In the East, Cinderella side NYCFC battled Leo Messi and Inter Miami.
Fantastic from Inter Miami!
Then, out west, San Diego FC and the Vancouver Whitecaps fight to reach their first MLS Cup final.
San Diego FC have blown the roof off!
It's the MLS Conference Finals, Saturday night at 6 Eastern on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Connor Bedard. Nobody said last year was bad, but what we're seeing now, he's the dog on the bone. It was almost as if he had some cement in his skates last year, and he wasn't F1 ever. He's different. This has been different. He wasn't bad last year. He was good. Now he's great right now.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91, and on your schedule with the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
Eric Tulsky's the general manager in Carolina.
Are you still a team that looks to go big game hunting via trades?
It's very easy as a manager when you have a good team to get conservative. Just let it play out and hope for the best. And that's not our philosophy here. We don't want to just sit back and call it good enough. We want to keep looking for ways to make the team better.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The NHL is on Sirius XM.
3-on-1. Connor McDavid, right circle, dishes, gets it back and scores.
With your favorite team's calls all season long.
It's a power play goal for Matthew Tkachuk.
The rivalries, the big goals, the moments you wait for. Plus, insiders to bring you closer to the decisions that shape the league.
Commissioner of the NHL, Mr. Gary Bettman.
NHL Network Radio, where the hockey talk never stops. On Sirius XM 91 in the car and the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken. Don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, the show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots and scores!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590. The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. A 2-1 lead for the Maple Leafs after 40 minutes. Ailish Forfar and Gord Stellick here with you. The second intermission is brought to you by Popeyes. Score a Popeyes chicken sandwich for only $6 in classic or spicy. Make it your new game day tradition. Get your $6 chicken sandwich at Popeyes near you. And a 2-1 lead for the Leafs, as we mentioned. A nice goal from Matthew Knies, but a goal by the Caps keeps it tight after 40 minutes.
So looking at the goals, you had, first of all, Austin Matthews, great play on the Knies goal. So that gave him the 2-0 lead, and nice kind of spark. But then they were the line. Man, they were hemmed in. Oof. They were just hemmed in forever, Matthews, Knies, and company, that got the tying goal. And that's part of the game, but also it's problematic when you're tired, exhausted, and it looks like the other team is having their way, which it did on that particular goal. I thought Jim Ralph at the end just said, we had talked about, if they hang on to win, like they did against Columbus. I mean, Columbus, they came back to one, but it's got to be a similar type road game. It's not fun. It's not wow. It's not razzle dazzle. It's not horrible, but getting away from the meat and potatoes, dumping it in, getting shots at net, not being fancy schmancy, because they did a little bit of that, and it started to flip back to the Capitals' way again. And again, some really solid goaltending so far from Joe Woll, and you got goaltending, you're in every game.
Yeah, and they're definitely in this one. A lot of credit goes to Joseph Woll. He's been great. It's the 6th consecutive start, and knock on wood, doesn't look like he's slowing down at any moment. But he was definitely led out to maybe to dry a little bit on that goal by the Caps. They had been hemmed in for a while. It looked like they were running a power play. Like if you didn't see the score clock, you would have thought, oh, well, they must be on a power play the way they had the puck possession on the Leafs, and they ended up getting one. But that Matthew Knies, let's go back to that Leafs goal, because I thought it was a really clever, nifty play by Austin Matthews in the corner. He kind of dances off Ovi, who he's on his stomach when the puck's going in the net. Like that's always a good thing, like to kind of get one up on Ovi, as we talked about in the pregame show. And he dishes it to Matthew Knies, who has a perfect shot right past Logan Thompson, our guy. And I thought it was good for Matthew Knies as well, because that's his first goal since early November. He's a guy right now you need to get more production from. He had a great season last year. We thought, all right, who's this guy becoming? And this year, a little slower because of the injury concerns, but him and Matthews having a great partnership is kind of what I'm looking forward to seeing as they're both back in the lineup, both healthy. And that was a great indicator of great vision and great puck possession and an amazing shot to get it in the net for the Leafs. So I like that partnership. I want to see that continue to work.
Yeah, no, Nylander in the lineup tonight too due to illness. So, they don't have a lot of the real skilled players. I agree with you. They say Knies has had injury woes since the start of the year. He missed 3 games, so that is a bit of a concern. So probably not 100%, but anyway, out there. And the other thing, Ailish, is we mentioned the foot soldiers because there was over 13 minutes of straight time in the first period. The Scott Laughtons and the Lorentzes and Michellis and all these guys, they got 4.5 minutes. All they could do was roll the line. So I think this has been a real solid game for the foot soldiers, so to speak. And as well, PK. I know you want to get the power play going when you get a chance, but penalty killing in Columbus early on, killing penalties off very smartly, very efficiently, and they did that when Washington had power plays.
And with that assist on Matthew Knies' goal, Austin Matthews now moves into sole possession of 5th on the Maple Leafs all-time points register, passing Mitch Marner. So leaving him in the dust. That's a good one. Maple Leafs PR posted that tweet, but they didn't mention who he passed for 5th, and all of the comments are saying, well, who did he pass? So he did pass Mitch Marner for 5th sole all-time in terms of points. I feel like the Leafs, as you mentioned, they had a good start with that second period, getting up 2-0. But then that period of time where the Capitals kind of gained momentum, they were out shooting them, and they get that goal to make it a 2-1 lead. This is where I see the Leafs falling apart in the defensive zone a little bit. They weren't really able to clear the puck very well. We were kind of saying, oh, man, just you got to get it out. And I don't know if it's fatigue or I don't really have an excuse for it, but long stretches of time where you can't clear the puck out, it's a bit frustrating, I would say.
Well, it's funny. I don't know how many. Leafs have hardly had any icings, and the Capitals have had a lot of them. And at some point, I know the rules changed a long time ago, so it's a kind of an edge. The other team gets to get fresh soldiers out there. But man, you want to, every now and then just wire it. That's better, because you're right. The worst part is because also when you are fatigued, you're mentally not sharp either. So you're really not doing a hell of a lot. You kind of see it that instead of being aggressive and on top of different individuals, you got people kind of clumped together a bit. And so even though you have to stay on there, the fact that you ice it comes back, it gives you a 30-second pop to get a little bit of reprieve. But I agree with you that, that will be likely their undoing if that kind of play continues in the third period, rather than the smarter and what they call a good road game. Just smarter, simpler, straightforward. And Morgan Rielly had the first shot of the game, and it was from a bad angle, went in, 1-0. They had one hit a crossbar as well. There's been a lot of weird stuff with just getting shots at Logan Thompson, so I would continue doing that. Yeah, and they're in the driver's seat with a 2-1 lead after 40 minutes. We'll take a quick break. We'll get to that out-of-town scoreboard, and we'll get you set for the third period. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Hockey. It's taken over our basements, our driveways, and our backyards. And at Rona, we wouldn't change a thing. That's why we make sure your home can take any hits hockey throws its way, so hockey can keep taking over your laundry rooms, your living rooms, your garages, your kitchens. Make sure your home is ready for hockey season with Rona. Build it right, build it Rona.
Heard of Uline? The have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists? The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses, with customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
The fall get-together is here at Canadian Blood Services, which means it's the perfect time to grab your crew, hit up a donor center, and experience what you get when you give together. It's not just about donating blood and plasma. It's about showing up and feeling like we actually did something. Jesse, you're up. Awesome. Be right there. Book an appointment today at blood.ca and experience what you get when you give. Canadian Blood Services. Who's saving who?
Okay, category is ways Desjardins Insurance goes the extra mile to make insurance easy. First question, what are some of the things you can easily do online or in the app?
Oh, view your policy.
Add a new driver.
Oh, update your address when you move.
Easy. You guys are good.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
Sundays just got super. Make your Sundays super safe Sundays with Journey Rewards and CIBC. Every Sunday until January 11th, linked CIBC Journey members can stack up to 6 cents off per liter of gas. Just activate the offer in the Journey Rewards app for 3 cents off per liter on Sundays, then pay with your linked CIBC debit or credit card for an additional 3 cents off per liter every time you fill up. Cha-ching! Super safe Sundays with Journey Rewards and CIBC. Offer expires January 11th, 2026 and conditions apply. Visit journey.ca.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Back to the point. Willie with a one-timer scores!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar and Gord Stellick with your intermissions. Leafs with a 2-1 lead after 40 minutes. Let's get to that out-of-town scoreboard presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
No time to shop on Black Friday because we have 15 games around the National Hockey League, including this one. I'll go, first of all, how about 2 of the 3 worst teams in the Western Conference doing Atlantic Division teams like the Leafs a favor? Calgary, 5-3 win over the Florida Panthers. St. Louis, a 4-3 win over the Ottawa Senators. So I think maybe no Canadian teams are in the playoffs right at this particular moment. Don't know. Montreal, a big 4-1 win over Vegas. New Jersey shuts out Buffalo 5-0. Anaheim, a 5-4 shootout win over Los Angeles. Boy, what a tilt. The Colorado Avalanche. They didn't lose in regulation, though. They never do, but they lost in a shootout to the red-hot Minnesota Wild 3-2. New York Rangers beat Boston 6-2. Tampa Bay, a 6-3 win over Detroit. Detroit slip-sliding in the wrong direction again. Later on, we'll have Nashville and Chicago at 8 o'clock. Utah takes on Dallas at 8. Pittsburgh and Columbus later on. Right now, a couple of games in progress. 1-1 tie between Winnipeg and Carolina after 2. San Jose has the 3-2 lead late in the third period against Vancouver. And the Flyers and Islanders are in a shootout now, tied 3-3.
All right. Lots going on in 15 games in the NHL today for American Thanksgiving. The Maple Leafs also in action tomorrow night against Pittsburgh. So it'd be great to be able to get a couple wins against Washington and Pittsburgh, who were in playoff spots as well. I don't think many people expected that. Pittsburgh was holding on to a wild card spot as of yesterday, and things have obviously changed, but they might be in there. And Washington had one of the best records in the Eastern Conference. So I think the Leafs are in the driver's seat, as we mentioned. Go out there, have a great third period. Joseph Woll, who's been probably the star for the Leafs tonight, him, Austin Matthews, and Matthew Nyes basically holding this team together. I wouldn't say it's the prettiest win if they get one, but one that they need.
Yeah, and funny one as well. You quite often start shortening the bench, which is natural, but they played so well the 13 minutes of straight time in the first period.
Maybe just roll them.
By rolling 4 lines, and I'm sure that's something, that they're looking at, and it was the first line that got hemmed in on the goal. But, yeah, the kind of thing, make the smart, easy plays to get out. Don't press. Don't go in a defensive shell. Just common sense. The good road game. Decades ago, it was called a good road game. 2025, it's called a good road game.
Yeah, and don't let Ovi get in his kitchen. Probably another one.
Yeah, or any room.
Yeah, he knows how to score.
Yeah, he does. He does, that's for sure.
All right, Joe Bone and Jim Ralph will have the call of the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Not every song makes it to the top. These did. Tap into a channel filled with 2025's unstoppable, undeniable #1 hits. Alongside the chart toppers defining this decade, Billboard 2025 #1s. Now for a limited time, exclusively in the Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Connor Bedard. Nobody said last year was bad, but what we're seeing now, he's the dog on the bone. It was almost as if he had some cement in his skates last year, and he wasn't F1 ever. He's different. This has been different. He wasn't bad last year. He was good. Now he's great right now.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best player analysts and insiders live on NHL Network Radio. Mike Johnson.
Just the nature of the NHL. As bad as things seem, as good as things seem, the NHL just has a way of leveling out. Everyone is doing okay, and it's just one real clump in the middle. No one's really separating. No one's really falling off completely.
Get the latest opinion and analysis you need on the home of hockey, NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Network.
Heading to the third period, and it is brought to you by Rona. Rona knows the game we love is hard on the home, so make sure your home is ready to take on hockey season. Visit Rona.ca for more details. Build it right. Build it Rona. You mentioned about Oliver Ekman-Larsson now with an 8-game point streak. Now, from the obscure record book, for players 34 years or older as a Leaf defenseman, that eclipsed Boreas Salming's 7-game streak back in 1985-86 when Gordy Stellick was probably running the operation.
You could throw in Swedish defensemen too, right?
Well, yeah, I guess you could. That would add that another little
dynamic.
Yes. We're underway. Leafs to the left and the Capitals to the right. As they play it up on the left wing and to the line, and in Strome had his pass intercepted. Leafs counter at center, having difficulty with it though, and now it's just backhanded high into Washington territory. Martin Fervari in around back of the net, waiting for his team to get a change in. And it's played up on the wing. Chasing after it there was Dakota Joshua. Down into the Toronto zone it goes. McCabe gets it ahead. Joshua turning at center. Played it off a body and down into the zone. Way out of the goal came Thompson to punch it into the corner. The Leafs get it back into the slot area, and a shot that was just wide. The rebound right on the short side, and Thompson got a pad across to make the save. Now the puck along the near boards. McCabe keeping it in, but the Caps have sent it high to center ice. Benoit gloving it, giving it to Jake McCabe, who circles back in his own zone. Looked to make a pass, but it went off a stick. Grabbed up, and a shot taken there on the wing quickly by Leonard. Went high and wide. McCabe had all kinds of time to make a good play, and
tried to go through somebody, and it ended up being knocked down. So the Leafs dodge a bit of a bullet there. There's a lot of areas, obviously, the Leafs have to be better in than they were in the first 21, 22 games of the regular season. One is protecting leads in the third period. Just 3-2-1 when leading after the second period. Last year, they only lost 2 games. I think they were 37-1-1 when leading after 2.
Drawing the circle to the left. Matthews wins it. McCabe, who gave the puck away, made a pretty good play to deflect that subsequent shot into the screen. And now the Leafs get it down into the Washington end, but the Caps have it under control and get it up on the right side. A left wing feed across the line for Chychrun. A long shot knocked away by Woll. Into the corner, trying to come out with it is sort of. Back to the point once more. Chychrun walks the line. Sent it off on the wing. Unable to get a shot away, though, was Protas. And now the Caps have it back at the far point again. Chychrun with another attempted through. That was blocked. Leafs have a bouncing puck. Went over about 3 sticks Finally played up on the wing and unable to get it out is Robertson the first time, and it'll be launched to center ice finally by the Leaf defense. Matthews intercepts a shoot-in attempt. Has it under control in his own zone as he heads to the bench. Got it on the right wing, and Stetcher sends it down into Washington territory. Centering pass in front, a shot by Cowan, and that was gobbled up nicely by Thompson, deflecting that into the corner. Two Leafs on one cap. Puck comes free. Bobby McMahon trying to jam it in. It goes off a body and comes to the near corner. Coming out with it now is a shot whistled off the stick of the goaltender by Cowan. Loose puck in front, knocked back to the net. Could have been a tripping penalty there, none. Cowan a whack at it, and down is Thompson. It appears that referees John McIsaac and Kelly Sutherland do not have your alley program working.
No, that was pretty good tackle on Bobby McMahon going. I mean, this is a hook right into the hands, right? We saw that called Wednesday in Columbus.
And Tavares made a nice little 2-foot pass to Cowan, who tried to jam it in the short side, but to no avail. Face off to the right on the Washington end. Capitals win the draw cleanly. Fed around the boards and out at center. Shot right back in over the line by Toronto. Then a block made by Yarncrook, who takes it to the near boards. It'll come back to the point. Jake McCabe walks the line. Got a shot away. That went off a body and comes to the line and now brought out at center ice by Beauvillier. Sent high into the near corner in the Toronto end. Back to the point. D to D on the right wing side, and a weak wrist shot is handled easily by goaltender Joseph Woll. Face-off coming in the Toronto end of the rink.
They still look a little nervous in their own end, don't they? And you get a little bit of offensive zone time by the Capitals. It's sort of that collapse defense. Nobody wants to make a mistake, but then you open yourself up to all kinds of opportunities from the point and the defense jumping down. By the way, we mentioned
off a face-off win, a shot blockered away there by Woll. 25 shots on goal now for Washington. Leafs have a dozen. Back to the point, kept in there by Protas. His shot, that went wide. Rebound for Riley. Back of the goal, he goes to his defense partner, and a long lead pass, trying to spring Robertson down into the zone. It goes. Robertson knocked it away. It'll come up on the wing, and the Caps are going to get it out. At center ice, Protas in on the wing, knocked off a stick there in the Leafs counter, but can't find Nyes, who is breaking. And the Caps will send it back in their own zone to allow a change of players. Matt Roy sends it down into the Toronto end. Stood up there by Stetcher. It comes back on the wing, and Michelli trying to get it out, does. And on the left wing side now, Dakota Joshua can't get it into the zone. They'll try the other side for Michelli. Michelli into the top of the circle, into the slot area, rolled off the stick of the Leaf defenseman, but it's grabbed off again by the Leafs, and back of the goal it goes. Going to the front of the net was Joshua. They can't get him the puck, and it's back down out at center ice, and Benoit has to go back to retrieve it. McCabe plays it up on the wing. Dakota Joshua couldn't make a play, and the Caps have it back under control in their own zone. Jacob Chychrun looking for a return pass, but now it comes to center ice instead. Played off the boards, gobbled up by Toronto, tried to feed it back out for maybe a quick break, but didn't happen. And now brought back the other way by Sandin. Sandin works into the corner and has stood up. Gets it in along the boards for Beauvillier. Back to Sandin. Can't send it at the net. Send it wide. Leafs intercept and play it off the boards, but Cowan can't get it out. Sandin into the slot for Ovechkin, and he wired it high and wide of the net. And it's gone off the glass and gone out of play. Wrong guy, wrong spot.
But again, you've got a defenseman wide open. You got Cowan wide open on the right wing side, and Jake McCabe tries to angle it off the right wing boards. Cowan standing still, and when the angle isn't perfect, it goes right back to the right point, and eventually head over to Ovechkin. It looks like Simon Benoit got his shaft of his stick on that Ovechkin blast.
Face off in the Toronto zone, won by Washington. Leafs lead 2-1. Long shot, blockered in front of the net. Scramble on. Puck goes free. Leafs with control, flipping it into neutral ice. Not far enough to catch up to it was Scotty Lawton. Lawton chases his man Van Riemsdyk back deeper into Washington territory. 14:08 to play in the third period as Sandin brings it to center. He steps in on the left wing, but the extra move he had to make to get around Lawton put a teammate offside. And so a faceoff is coming back in the center ice area. It is 2-1 in favor of the Maple Leafs. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
WWE Survivor Series is tomorrow, and we're previewing every match on Sirius XM Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. Acknowledge us. Tune in to Channel 156 all week long, and once the final bell rings, check out Busted Open After Dark with Jonathan Coachman for instant reaction. These War Games matches are stacked. Comprehensive coverage of WWE Survivor Series, only on Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7. Channel 156 in the car and on the Sirius XM app.
Hockey 24/7 on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Connor Bedard. Nobody said last year was bad, but what we're seeing now, he's the dog on the bone. It was almost as if he had some cement in his skates last year, and he wasn't F1 ever. He's different. This has been different. He wasn't bad last year. He was good. Now he's great right now.
Sirius XM NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91. And on your schedule with the Sirius XM app.
Experience the pinnacle of club soccer in the UEFA Champions League on Sirius XM FC. This is the place where legends are born.
Merseyside magic from Mo Salah.
Dynasties are built.
Real Madrid do what they do best.
And history is made.
It is a night to remember for Paris Saint-Germain.
Hear the top Champions League matches all season long on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Leafs Radio Network.
Careful, the boss is here. He just moved in, sat over there by you. Careful now what to say. You know what they're like.
He'd like to talk to you after the game. I know that.
Armin has joined us here. Face-off coming in the neutral zone. The Leafs leading 2-1.
Be a nice time for Austin Matthews to get on the board, wouldn't it? I think the Leafs have to have the mentality. You need another one. You don't have to gamble.
A lot of pushing and shoving with Nyes and Wilson. And the puck to the far boards, and Riley has bunted it down into Washington territory. Icing waved off. Nyes into the forecheck. Now Robertson getting it back to the point. Long shot taken. Here's Matthews. Oh, and a backhand was fended off by the blocker of Logan Thompson as Matthews now works in the corner. Matthews trying to lay the puck back for Robertson. It comes back to the point. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, a shot. That was stopped. There's a rebound. And Matthews back of the goal trying to control it. He still has it. And it's back up now on the left wing and brought out by Protas of Washington. A pass over on the right wing, and a shot is blockered away by Woll. And it'll carry him all the way down into the center ice area and down into Washington territory, which leads me to think he may not have got the blocker on it. It may have just come exploding off of the glass.
Great shift by the Matthews line, though.
Chychrun gets it back into the Toronto end. Leafs get it up on the wing. Joshua can't get it out, but now McCabe has an avenue, and the Leafs with skating room get it to the line and in. Here's Michelli stopping up on the near half boards. Looks to make a pass, sends it towards the net, but it was well wide. And the carom comes all the way out at center ice and brought back now by McMichael. McMichael back into the slot area, and a shot whistled there by Leonard is gloved by goaltender Woll to stop play.
Well, Woll almost looked like he read that, right? He didn't even butterfly. Pretty good shot by Leonard from the high slot, but Woll stayed on his feet and was able to make the save.
Good blocker save made by Thompson, who catches with his right hand, so his blocker is in his left. Matthews looking at the tablet.
By the way,
see if something different might have materialized.
Charlie Lindgren, the backup, left-handed as well. I think we had the conversation before that. When was the last time?
Yeah.
Two lefties on one team.
Play it around the boards. Far side. Joshua doesn't get it out. It comes back behind the net. McCabe tries the other side. And it'll be pushed out at center ice. And here's a break 2-on-1. In Lawton into the front of the net area. And it bounced off his stick. And unable to get it was Lorenz. Back at the blue line. Cleared out at center. McCabe steps up at the red line and sends it right back in again. Knocked down back of the net by the goaltender. And now here are the Caps getting it out for Ovechkin. Ovechkin rolls it down into the Toronto end. Woll out of the cage. Backhanded it past the Capitals forward, but it comes back to the point. Kept in by the Caps. They work it back to the point. Sandin, wrist shot. Knocked into the corner by the pad of Woll. Puck in the near corner again. Capitals with it. Back to Sandin one more time. D to D, he goes to the right wing side. Kept alive by Roy. Pass intercepted. Breakaway chance. Tavares in on goal. Caught by Thompson with the right hand as Johnny tried to go top left corner. Huge save by the Washington netminder here after an Ovechkin giveaway.
Well, you know, and I think, especially for a left-handed shot, Joe, goalie catching with his right hand makes a bigger difference. If that's the other way, it's blocker's side. But here, Logan Thompson is able to keep that glove up high on the right side, and when John Tavares tries to go short side, his strong side, Logan Thompson basically just took away the top of the net with his glove.
Draw one by Toronto. Back to the point it comes. Oliver Ekman-Larsson's shot went wide. Nyes on the far boards trying to get to it, but it is pushed out at center ice, and Protas will get it in over the Toronto line. Here's the Leafs getting it around on the boards. Nyes brings it deeper into his own territory. Oliver Ekman-Larsson being challenged here, and as he tries to clear it, it goes off the glass. It appears, is what the official is saying.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a delay from the official to give you that signal. As again, like you said, the Leafs end up going back into their own zone and more pressure from the Capitals. So even though the Leafs only have 16 shots on goal to Washington's 27, they've had more opportunities clean cut off the rush, haven't they? You had the Scott Laughton breakaway in the first period. You had Matthews and Nyes missed on a 2-on-1, but scored seconds later when they retrieved the puck early in the second. And there you had John Tavares with a clear-cut breakaway from the Washington blue line.
I think Mark Savard talking to Tavares right there about you got to realize that he's left-handed. Maybe go the other side. At the point, a shot. Blocker save made by Woll. That went off Ovechkin as well. He goes back into his own zone. Ovechkin does to restore the puck. Capitals looking for a pass. Off a stick to the line and in. Strome getting it down into the corner. Benoit forces it wide. Leafs get it up on the wing, and a good play made there by Laughton just to get it out, or to get it out at center ice. Rather, it was Lorenz who got it through everybody just into neutral territory. Ovechkin slapping it back into the zone, but it goes off a stick and out of play. Faceoff is going to come in the center ice area. Scott Laughton's helmet was almost down around his chin.
Well, we mentioned the Leafs just 3-2-1 in the previous 6 times they've taken a lead into the third period. On the other side, Washington Capitals are 0-6-1, so they've yet to have a win when they've trailed after 2.
Face off in the Toronto zone. One again, and a shot blockered away by Woll once more. Oh, sorry, no, that was... I thought that was play underway, and it wasn't. It was a replay. Oopsies. My bad. Looked familiar. Thanks for your help, Ralph.
Well,
face off again in the Toronto zone.
How much do you need?
I don't know. I need some help. The draw won by the Capitals as they get it back to the point. Chychrun trying to work in. Got a shot away. Went off the skate of Bobby McMahon. Leafs get it ahead, and now they're out at center as the pass comes ahead to McMahon, and he will flip one towards the net. Thompson scooping it into the corner. Leafs get to it first. Tavares got it back to the point. Long shot went well wide of the net there by the Leafs Stetcher. It goes into the corner. And now up on the left wing, McMichael gets it to center and launches it high into the right wing corner. Down after it is Ethan Frank. Played around the boards to the near side, but the Leafs get to it there, and they'll airmail this to center ice. Chychrun shoots it over the line, left wing side. Good play there, taking McMichael out of the play, and the Leafs come away with a loose puck. And it'll be Cowan just sending it into the zone. Ottawa up forechecking, but is late getting there, and the Caps get it back at center. Chychrun up on the right wing for Protas. Protas with a shot from an angle. Easy save made there by Woll. It's deflected all the way back out into the center ice area. Leafs again break up a rush at the blue line, but Oliver Ekman-Larsson couldn't get it out. They'll play it around into the far corner. And then Roy mishandles the puck, and it's down low, but it went off a stick and went wide into the near corner. Unable to get to it again. A long pass broken up. Leafs get it to Roy. Roy playing it through center. Will it be enough for icing? Yes, it will. And so it's coming back, and a tired group of fourth liners out here for the Maple Leafs.
Well, very nearly Matthias Michelli. If he gets that, he's got a shot at a breakaway, but just out of his reach. And the Leafs are. Michelli's actually had the longer shift of anyone.
The Leafs being outshot almost 2-1 here. It's 29-15, but leading 2-1, and hanging on with 8:45 to go in the third period. Roy upended in the face-off circle. No call. Back to the point it comes to Sandin. Now the Capitals trying to take advantage of a tired group here. Get it down low into the corner. Beauvillier trying to work back around back of the net. Roy knocked it over on the far boards. Grabbed off by Strome. Strome walks the line. Left wing side. Sandin. A shot. Pad save. Rebound cleared into the corner. Leafs can't get their handle on a loose puck. Kept alive by Washington. Far side again. Oliver Ekman-Larsson trying to tie his man up. Roy can't get it out. It comes to Sandin again, a shot. And Woll down low to make the save there. Sandin keeping it in again, but the Leafs get a clear of it. They'll play it down into the zone. Roy's got to hustle to get to it, but doesn't get to it. And it's going to be an icing call again. And again, this fourth line is caught out. And again, they need a face-off win here in the worst way.
Well, we got the ice time here. Michelli 130, Ekman-Larsson 132, and Nick Waugh, you could see, was out of gas. 1:40 on his shift.
Bill Esposito, you stay out for 4 minutes.
Yeah. Game's changed a bit, hasn't
it? Yeah. Face off in the circle to the right of Joseph Woll. Scrummed and played to the near boards, and the Capitals have it again. And then a shot that was ill-advised. A shot taken from a bad angle by John Carlson is caught by Joseph Woll. He not only will get a change of players, they'll get an opportunity to talk about it during this timeout. It is 2-1 Toronto. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
The scrape of blades, the clash of sticks. Hockey's more than a game. It's unrelenting, never give up moments that make you feel alive. And so you commit to the weekly ups and downs, the long road to the playoffs. You wear your heart on your sleeve and your jersey with pride. And when you're there for your team, the NHL Shop is there for you. Check out the largest selection of official NHL gear at nhlshop.ca. A Fanatics experience.
With a Subaru, a vehicle that's built to last comes standard. Heated front seats? Standard. High ground clearance? Standard. EyeSight Driver Assist to help spot the scooter delivery guy texting, merging, and eating all at once? Standard. Parallel parking perfectly while someone watches? Uncommon. But in a Subaru? Standard-ish. Subaru. Uncommon comes standard. Hurry into your local Subaru dealership today for lease rates from 1.99% for 24 months on select models. And get great value that, you guessed it, comes standard. Conditions apply. See dealer for details.
Okay. First question. When does Desjardins Insurance suggest you switch to winter tires?
Below 7 degrees. Easy.
Nice. Next, what's a smart way to save money on your home insurance?
Switch to Desjardins Insurance and you could save up to $900 when you bundle home and auto. Easy.
Get insurance that's really big on care. Desjardins Insurance. Here for your home, auto, life, and business needs. Certain conditions apply.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Holy mackerel, what a move!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Leafs 2, Capitals 1. 7 minutes and 53 seconds remaining in the third period. First period goal by Morgan Rielly. Second period goal by Matthew Knies. And then Ajax native Connor McMichael tallying for the Capitals in the second period. Lawton wins that draw cleanly, got it up on the wing. Knies couldn't get it out. The Leafs now have it again and get it up on the left wing, and it is pushed down on the boards. Knies after it is able to clear it into the corner. Around back of the net. Carlson and the Capitals organize, and they start out on the right wing. They'll get to center ice, and it is shot in. Grabbed off by McCabe. Pushes it ahead for Knies. Knies cross ice. And out of the reach of everyone, Matthews couldn't find a loose puck at center. Cleared to the blue line. Matthews comes away with it, and he starts back up ice and looks for a man with a backhand pass, but it was gobbled up there by the Washington defense and played to the Toronto blue line. Trapped there and sent right back out at center ice. Capitals Wilson going back into his own zone. Washington organizing, dropping it back as Jacob Chychrun. A pass through the middle, got in over the line, and a wrist shot deflected by Woll, goes back of the net, centering pass in front of the goal, they score! Off to the side, Anthony Beauvillier, and Morgan Rielly couldn't tie him up. Or was that Cowan on that side that couldn't find him? But it was a tying goal here to make it 2-2.
Again, simple play. But the Leafs unable. Ekman Larsson first. The bouncing puck off the backboards, unable to control it eventually. It's Alex Ovechkin, and probably everyone in the world thinks Ovechkin is going to shoot this. But Beauvillier in behind Morgan Rielly off the far post takes the Ovechkin pass and easily knocks it into the wide open net to tie this game at 2.
13-16, the time of the tying goal by Beauvillier. And that is his 5th goal of the season. And the Capitals are back in it after trailing 2-0 in the second period. No chance for Joseph Woll. Puck in the center ice area is bouncing around. The Leafs are able to come away with it. Yarncrook getting it back. Now brought out at center ice by Toronto. Dropped back by Stetcher. Long lead pass off a skate down into Washington territory, but not under any control. Puck back of the net. Fired around the boards, but it goes off the glass and out of play. The Leafs are without a power play in this game. The Capitals have had 2.
Give the Capitals credit. They go in and win a one-on-one battle. It was Strome that eventually got it to Ovechkin, and then Ovechkin spotting Beauvillier in the far post. Pretty simple play, though, right?
Yep.
Get it in, go after it. And the Leafs, with 6:02 to go, want to try to avoid losing for the 4th time in 7 times, taking a lead into the third period.
Face off in the Washington zone. Matthews scrums the draw, but got the puck around the forward, but couldn't get a shot at the net. Now it's backhanded in by Robertson. Nyes will forecheck as it comes around to the far side. Robertson cut it off, send it back into the corner. Matthews on the end boards, trying to get some help from Nyes. Nyes had it for a moment, but it comes free. Capitals trying to get it out, but McCabe made a nice play to keep it in. Near corner now for Nyes. Dropped in and played back into the corner then by Robertson. And the Capitals are going to get it airmailed high to center ice and back into the Toronto zone where it's cleared to the side of the goal, and Woll will cover up on it as Simon Benoit tried to play it around back of the net but got a little bit too much of it and ended up going right to Woll. It is a 2-2 tie with 5:23 to go in the third period. And you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From overeating to seasonal depression, it's a special set of knowledge with some holiday reflection. Doctors answer cues, scratchy throats to a just give them a call when you don't know what to do. From allergy distress to family stress, Dr. Radio's finesse could be your wintertime success. When temps get cold and you really need a friend, do not dismay. On our docs you can depend.
Hey Deborah, how are you doing? I'm doing better now.
Dr. Radio! Your health's best friend. Sirius XM Channel 110.
NHL Morning Skate.
Eric Tulsky's the general manager in Carolina.
Are you still a team that looks to go big game hunting via trades?
It's very easy as a manager when you have a good team to get conservative. Just let it play out and hope for the best. And that's not our philosophy here. We don't want to just sit back and call it good enough. We want to keep looking for ways to make the team better.
NHL Morning Skate with Scott Laughlin and Gord Stellick. Weekdays 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern, 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM
Network.
Leafs 2 and the Capitals 2. 5:23 to play in the third period. After leading 2-0 on goals by Riley and Nyes, McMichael and Beauvillier have scored for the Capitals. One in the second, one now in the third. 32 shots for Washington, 15 for the Leafs. Draw one by Toronto. Benoit circles the goal, bangs it off the glass high to center. It bounces away from any Toronto player. And now the Capitals are starting out of their own end. Tip pass broken up. Brought in now by Lorenz on the right side. A backhand try by Scotty Lawton. Stop the rebound. Comes back on the far boards. Great opportunity by this third line for the Maple Leafs. Lawton has had a couple of great scoring chances but not been able to beat Logan Thompson. Now another turnover as Cowan gives the puck away. It comes back to the near side. Leafs unable to get to it. And Roy will send a long pass off a stick down into Washington territory. 4:38 to play in regulation. Puck in the center ice area. Brought in by Tavares. Tavares gets it in with a backhand try. Rebound center wide of the net by Bobby McMahon. Caps get it back out at center with McMahon back checking diligently. Had his arm wrapped around Leonard. The crowd calling for a penalty. None forthcoming. Chychrun on the left wing. Shot well wide of the net, hoping for a redirect. Puck goes back along the boards. Kept in at the far side by McMichael. McMichael back into the slot again. Played off on the wing by Leonard. Leonard gets it again on the left wing. A cross-ice pass. Scores! One-timer from the far side. And it is Chychrun who makes it 3-2 Washington.
Great chance at one end, doesn't go, and the Capitals come back and make the Leafs pay with 3:56 left in regulation. And again, the defensive zone coverage breakdown as Chychrun is wide open. in the right wing circle and one-times it into the empty net before Woll can get over. I mean, this is just everybody gets lost, right? It's a perfect play by the Capitals to set up Chychrun.
Troy Stecher was late getting to Chychrun. And the Capitals own the lead, 3-2. Capitals back in their own zone, and an offside at the blue line will stop play.
I mean, the amount of points the Leafs have let slip away. And you've been in control of games. And, you know, you could talk about you had some chances at one end. But, boy, this is just everybody's late trying to pick up a man. And for Jacob Chychrun, not only does that extend a point streak, it extends his goal streak to 5 games. Now the Leafs
goal of the season.
Leafs are right back where they were against Columbus on Wednesday night, down a goal late.
Down in around back of the net. Capitals in their own zone, get it off a stick to center. They'll get to the red line, but not much further, and then just backhanded down into the Toronto end, courtesy Sorted. Leafs get it out, but not under any control. Three minutes and 7 seconds left to play in the third period. The Leafs in danger of losing for the 11th time this season. Capitals get the puck in over the line, and a wrist shot in traffic is knocked down in front. And then it is played by Joshua to center ice. In on the line is Lawton to get it back into the slot. It comes right to the near side, and McCabe whistled a shot over top of the net. Great scoring chance there, but it didn't hit the net. Caps get it thrown high to center ice, and they'll come away with it, and from the blue line shoot it in. Woll slowed it up enough to allow the Leafs to get to the puck and get it up on the wing. McCabe gets it ahead at center, and it'll be shot into the Washington end as changes are coming. Matthews out there along with Cowan. And Nyes joins them. And the Caps break it up and have a 2-on-1 going, and a good play by Riley to break it up. Puck on the near side for Matthew Nyes. Nyes, a rink-wide feed to no one. And the Capitals have an easy turnover. Minute 58 to go in the third period. Capitals get it up on the right wing. Goaltender still in the net for the Maple Leafs. Down into the corner it goes, and Morgan Riley will circle the goal and get it up on the left wing. Drop back. Brought out slowly to center by Toronto. Drop for Matthews onto the right wing side. In goes Cowan, tried to center, broken up. Puck goes down into the center ice area, and now we find out that the net is empty, and now Tavares will get back to have an icing call, and the Maple Leafs will have a face-off in the offensive zone with 1:29 to go, and this may be the time for the timeout. We'll wait and see.
Yeah, I got a 50-second shift going for Matthew Nyes. Austin Matthews at 42, and yeah, the Leafs are going to utilize their timeout here, so Leafs looking for another Hail Mary late in the game to try to get it to overtime.
Now, I don't know. Yeah, Toronto timeout. On our screen, it showed Washington taking the timeout, but that is incorrect.
Can't do that when you've iced the puck.
Yes. So, the discussion now with 1:29 is to generate some offense that has just not been there in the third period. Leafs had 5 shots in the first period, 7 in the second, and a total of 17 now. So they've had just 5 shots in this third period, but what a chance Scott Lawton had. 2 of them, the breakaway, and then this third period just prior to the Capitals gaining the lead. Tavares will take the face-off for the Maple Leafs in the circle to the left of the Washington net.
Referee now showing the linesman who is on the ice for Washington.
Roy is, he's got a pad and paper and going, excuse me there, young man, I think you have to leave. At least it looks like they're going to do that. Well, now he's bringing the paper back to the bench, so the Leafs are getting a little longer. Timeout. Now we're ready to go. Roy, Nyes, Riley, Cowan. The puck along the boards comes back to the blue line, sent towards the net, but well wide. Kept alive on the near side by Riley. Or at least Matthews. Matthews getting it back to Morgan Riley. Just kept in, but now the Caps get it out at center, and Riley has to backpedal into his own end. Minute 10 to go. Matthews in behind him, takes the drop pass. Matthews hitting the line, shooting it in on the boards. Roy barges down the boards to play it back of the net, but the Caps get it around on the wall. Knocked down by Nyes, centering pass and a shot. That was blockered away, and the puck comes out at center with an empty net and a 2-on-1 break. Ovechkin looking to score into the empty net, but can't. Matthews played goal and made a good save. He starts back with it. Matthews with a couple of Capitals trapped. Matthews across the line for Cowan. Cowan's pass was blocked. Cowan gets it free. Cowan into the slot. A shot. Big save made by Logan Thompson's right hand.
Oh, a great setup by Easton Cowan. Lost it, was able to block it and get it back, and then throw the backhand pass out to Nyes. From about the same spot Nyes scored in the second period. Maybe a little further out, but it looked like Logan Thompson was almost guessing on that, wasn't he? That it was going to go high glove?
Well, he had the glove up there, that's for sure. That's two good glove saves that he has made. One on Tavares on the breakaway, and that one right there. Now 32.6 seconds left. Draw is scrummed. Caps send it around the boards to the near side, and they have control, getting it ahead to the line, but time so much a factor now with 22 seconds and one last rush. Up on the wing it goes to Cowan. Shot in and around the boards. Leafs trying to get numbers into the corner to dig the puck free, but 12 seconds remain, and there's no one in front of the net. Puck is still jammed up against the wall, and time is ticking down with 5 seconds. Nyes is in front, but they dig it free and send it the length of the ice for an empty net goal with 1.3 seconds left. Another wasted lead taken into the third period by the Maple Leafs here tonight, but they're being outshot 34-18.
You can go to certain moments, but and you could talk about Willie Nylander being out of the lineup, but when you look at the Tampa Bay Lightning, I think Gordy Stella brought that up in the pregame. Tampa's got Hedman out, McDonough out, Braden Point out, and they've been able to rattle off some wins, and the Leafs end up paying for some poor defensive coverage in the third period. And Joseph Woll, who bailed them out on Wednesday night in Columbus, was unable to complete the job here again tonight. But Joseph Woll, certainly the best Leaf on the ice, and the reason they were even able to get ahead 2-0.
Well, with that in mind, time now for the 3 stars, brought to you by Desjardins Insurance. Get insurance. It's really big on care.
Well, even though he only faced 18 shots, Logan Thompson still came up with some big saves at big moments for the Washington Capitals. He picks up the win. He is star number 3. Joseph Woll, we're going to go star number 2. He stopped, 30 of 33 shots.
34, yep.
And there was nothing he could have done on any of the goals either. So you put him there. We might as well go Jacob Chychrun. Extends a goal streak, a point streak for the Capitals. And scores a game-winning goal in the third period. And the Leafs, once again, it's hard to believe, they're just .500 on this season when leading after the second period. They're now 3-3-1 when leading after 2. Most recently, you remember the game in Chicago was similar, a 2-1 lead into the third. And it's really, Joe, hurt them on the road. And maybe you got to go all the way back to that first game where the Leafs were in Detroit. They were up 2-0 after the first and fell apart after that. And now this has been really part of their DNA. It's happened at home, but more regularly away from home.
So the Leafs will not have much time to lick their wounds. They are off to Pittsburgh to tangle with Sidney Crosby and company there tomorrow night. We'll have that action for you beginning at 7 o'clock. The Leafs drop a 4-2 decision to the Washington Capitals. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey On Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the